Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing great as always. Just checking on some stuff here. Might have to turn another light on. I'm not sure. Well, we'll see. We'll see. If it gets a little bit darker, maybe I'll turn on another light. But I hope you guys are doing good. Hope it's sounding good. Hope it looks pretty decent. You guys know what today is. Today is the Hero Huddle Day or Heroes Huddle Day. This is where us heroes sit down, relax, have a cup of coffee, have a cup of soda, water, most cases, maybe all of them, and grab some popcorn and relax. We are going to be learning a lot today. This is where we go over replays. If you guys did not know, you guys could put your replays. Let me show you guys. You guys could put your replays in my Discord, and I do free replay reviews on the weekend. So today is Saturday. Give me a second. Just in case you're new here, I want to show you what I'm talking about. All right, so join my Discord. Boom, bam, shamalam. And then when you join it, you'll be prompted to select the checkbox. Some people actually get stuck here because they don't select the checkbox. I clear it out every now and then, though. So select the checkbox. You're good to go. You hop in. And you'll notice there's a free replay reviews tab. And here, just write your username, whatever role it is, the code, and then the reason why you want the review. That's pretty much all it is. And then throughout the year, throughout the season, we'll be doing them. So you can leave it there. You're not going to have to leave it on my videos anymore like I used to. If you guys used to do that, don't worry, we don't do that anymore. Here, you're going to have everything just nice and in the right spot at all times, the same spot. So do that if you guys want a replay review. Okay. Now we got that out the way. How you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys are doing great. Cameron, hello, hello. Lauren is here. Lauren, it feels like I haven't seen you in like 30 years. It's been ages. I think our times are different. So when I stream, you're like going to bed if I'm late, or if I'm streaming, you're like at work. So I feel like I never see you anymore. But it's good to see you. Victor, hello. Victor, you're always here, like Spider-Man. You got them Spidey senses? Alexander, hello, hello. Good to see you. Bite tacos. I feel like I've never. Oh, you're Cato. I could tell by the picture. Okay, because I was about to say, I feel like I've never seen you, but that looks like a comment of someone who's been here before. So, wasn't sure. Because you just stream when I'm at work. See, we just only with weekends. Because Lauren, I need another moderator. Not because you're a bad moderator, Lauren. But I think I'll just get one only because our server's starting to grow a little bit. And I'm starting to stream a lot more. So we'll see. I didn't really want to get another mod though for a while. But we'll see. We will see. I just noticed some unsavory people from time to time. That way you don't have to have big OG, triple OG, Lauren doing all the work. Spread it out. But yeah, it's great to see you. Stargoon, hello, hello. Good to see you as well. So, I just said before, replay reviews, check that out in the Discord. Let's go ahead and hop in. Let's make sure you guys can see my pencil. I think you guys can, so we're gaming. Let's go. So, let me read what this person put before we look at their replay. So this is what the person put for theirs. They said, I knew this game was pretty much unwinnable after we got stomped by the Moon Knight after losing the first point. I swapped to Hulk to try to pressure him. And I guess I could show this on the screen, huh? I don't know why I don't ever do that. You guys want? Let's try that. I don't ever show it. You guys just listen. But I feel like having the visual would be good for you guys. I mean, some of you guys probably don't really care. It's like, I could follow along. But for those of you that are like truly like visual learners, I could show you. I could show. Oh, it's not coming up. Never mind. I'm not showing you anything. We're having technical difficulties. Technical difficulties. Oh no, it's right there. Okay. So here's what they said. Hope you guys can see. I know it might be a little bit small. I could zoom in maybe. Ooh, that's kind of good. I mean, it's just for viewing, right? It's not necessarily serious. So you guys should be chilling. All right. So it says, I knew this game was pretty much unwinnable after we got stomped by the Moon Knight after losing first point. I swapped to Hulk to try to pressure him and also support my team more by trying to make space. I will say, we obviously had no team coordination whatsoever. I didn't do great myself, but my Hulk gameplay usually isn't this bad. I think the match was completely unwinnable. Team diff happens. But would love to get feedback on how I can improve / support team better to increase our chances of winning next time. So, one thing that we can take out of that, which is actually very important, is that you do need to understand when a game is quote unquote unwinnable. But you have to understand what that means. When you sacrifice what you're saying, like when you really agree that something is unwinnable, what you're pretty much doing is you're saying that I don't have the capability to carry this game. Okay. So unwinnable doesn't necessarily mean, or unless someone literally is not playing the game, that's just trolling, right? Or AFK or disconnects. Like obviously you can't win those. But like realistically, a game that you're in where all players are playing and you want to chalk it up as unwinnable, you have to understand that it's something that was out of your control and you didn't have the capability of doing so. So that is not a bad thing inherently, but the problem with this is if we do it too much, and I'm not saying you are, but if we do it too much, we're giving too much power to what we can't do, and then we're just never going to improve and going to learn, and you're going to be stuck in a rut because you're going to feel like every game was unwinnable and every game I just couldn't do anything, and that's a really horrible mindset to be in. The cool part about you is that you reached out to get some assistance, right? And so although you felt the game was unwinnable, you still feel like, maybe I could have done something to increase our chances, which is great because that's the mindset that you want to be in. If you're ever in that mindset where you feel like games are just truly unwinnable and like, what's the point of playing? That's not a good mindset, and you're probably not going to improve much because you're not giving yourself any power. Very rarely I'll say games are unwinnable, but I only say it's unwinnable because I honestly feel like I can't do anything about it. If I were a pro, maybe, right? But based off the characters that I play, based off the knowledge that I have, if I truly felt like I couldn't do anything in that match, I'll chalk it up to as unwinnable. Doesn't mean I couldn't improve on anything, but I will specifically say the game is unwinnable. So I just kind of wanted a little talk on that one because that one is very important. And that's something that we always have to keep in mind. Again, not saying you're wrong about this being unwinnable or anything like that. It's definitely possible. But I'm just saying, be careful with that because sometimes it's a little rough for you. But reaching out was the right choice, especially if you felt you could have done something differently. My shaders are all loaded on PC. Okay, so we shouldn't have no lag. We should be gaming. It took so long, y'all. I just left it up overnight. I was not playing that game. All right, that's how long I haven't updated this. Like I'll come in, do the reviews, and then hop off, but I never let the shaders load. So I let it load overnight, and we shouldn't have any lag or anything. Okay. So pretty much what they said was that they got run over the first point. I think one of their tanks swapped to DPS. You know how that works. And then they decided to swap to the Hulk to help the team. Pretty much how that works. So when you're in a situation like this, what's up, Chaos? Why don't I stream on Twitch? I tend to like everything just all on YouTube. I tried Twitch a couple of times and I just wasn't feeling it, especially streaming on both. But maybe in the future I will. I think Rivals likes when you stream on Twitch. So we'll have to see. But also, just anybody who wants to play Hulk and you're learning or anything like that, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you guys watch my video I made for the Hulk. Lauren approved. Certified #1 Hulk in North America. Lauren approved. So check that out. If you guys haven't, give it a bookmark, give it a save. But it really goes down with the fundamentals of what you do as playing, and not just the Hulk in general, but dive tank overall, what you need to do with your team, and all that extra good stuff. So first things first is we have to think about where is the best place for us to fight. And we always have to think about this, and we talk about this every single replay. Each map has multiple locations to fight, and you only have a number of fights to fight, right? And so, if we look at this first point, and you guys, I'm going to ask you guys questions. It's going to be short. You know, you don't have to respond, but I do want your brains kind of churning. At least think about it if you're in the replay or not. But obviously, how many fights do you guys think we can have right here, right? Of course, Doctor Strange portal it can happen, but realistically, if you wipe an entire team, they have to spawn back, walk out a little bit, and then Doctor Strange has to portal. Like, how many fights do you think you can have? Like, do you think that Doctor Strange could walk out of that if your whole team gets wiped, not staggered? Whole team gets wiped, he portals, and you think they can make it back to point, and that's 2 fights? Or that means that it's probably going to be 1. As I said before, don't feel like you have to type, but if you want to, feel free. So when it comes to this, it's always going to be 1 fight. You want to think of this as 1 fight. Yes, you have certain characters that could stagger, certain characters that can like come in and do some really crazy stuff. But for the most part, it's 1 fight. This means if you lose here, there's no saving. So you want to make sure that you back here. Now we're going to ask another tricky question. How many fights do you think there is? I think we talked about this a while ago, but how many fights do you think there is for this long stretch of part 2? How many fights? I'm going to say 1 to 5. Like, how many real team fights can you have? Because each map is strategically made. How many real fights is this game giving you before you guys lose this point? I'm going to drink some coffee while you guys try to answer that. 1 to 5. What do you guys think? 2 to 3? 2 to 3? Okay. You're not wrong. 2. Not wrong. So, well, we have to look at it and break it down, right? And obviously, each team comp is a little bit different, but we do have to look at it and break it down a little bit. So, would you guys agree or disagree that this is a spot we can hold? Yes or no? Real quick, yes or no? What do y'all think? Is this a for sure spot that we can hold? Yes or no? This is kind of a trick. This is kind of a trick, but I want you guys to see if you guys can get it. You think no? Not really? It's hard. Okay. I've seen you told that before, so I'm gonna say yes. Okay, Lauren. Lauren always gotta try to be a little sneaky sneak. All right, this was a trick question, so you're not right you're not wrong. This is team comp dependent. So characters that could pretty much hold close. We're talking about Strange, The Thing. Hulk could probably be a good one, to be honest, because he has the ability to get away, but he's also just a pain to deal with. Anything that's good at holding can hold here. What is wrong is people don't understand what is good at holding. You also have to factor in your team comp at the same time. So we're not going to get too much into this right now, but just know if you're playing something like Magneto, something like that, you're probably not going to do a good job holding here, because that's a character that will get run down. If you're playing Thor, pretty good character to hold a spot, right? Like anyone who, if they get pressure, they can sit there for a second, they're good to go. If you're playing anything else, you are going to have to back up. This also means that if you're the only tank and you are playing The Thing and all of your team is long range, you have Hawkeye, Hela, etc., all that, holding here probably wouldn't be a good idea. Why? Because you have no backup. All they'll do is just swarm you, right? So it is team comp dependent, and it is also character dependent. Now, the reason why it's better to hold here is because you are closer to your team. And if you have to retreat, you actually have a safe way of doing so because they can't see you as you back up. You can hold right there if you like until they break that, and you could, proceed to hold here. All that movement means that they can't see you while you reposition, basically. They have a lot more They have a lot more pain to deal with when pushing this area. So we're not going to count this spot because it's not eligible for everybody, but I just wanted to kind of get you guys to understand that some spots are capable of being held if the comp and the character is good for it. This spot right here is for sure holdable, right? So that's one. You think guys think you can fight here? Yes or no? This map is freaking tricky, bro. Is this something where we can probably win if we hold this corner? It's a yes? You feel like we could fight here? At this spot specifically? Okay. So let's see. If our team, if you're a tank chilling right here and they're pushing forward, and our team is somewhere down there. The reason you guys feel you can hold this is because the payload didn't make it, or the convoy didn't make it there yet. Okay? You have to keep in mind that if you're the person playing the tank, you have to think about this. It's not just about where you can hold. You have to think about everybody, because once it goes bad for you, what's going to happen to the people behind you? If we look at this and we had a tank try to hold that scenario, this cart would start moving, and it would move, and it would move, and it would move, and it would move, and it would move. And eventually, it'll end up right here. This means the team has cover there, the team has cover here, and your team has nothing. Your team can't really help you because there's no cover, and if they do, they're going to get sniped. Your team, like, there's nothing you could really do here. You're banking on your team to be godlike. The worst part, too, is this is also an incline. When it's on an incline, it's even harder to deal with people on the enemy team. It can also be up here and fight them. This is not a good spot to fight. Now, I will say, very, very rarely are people punished for holding here because it just seems so obvious. You could hold here. It's good to go. You're fine. You'll get run down. For the most part, this spot is hard to hold. What you want to do is, again, think about the advantage for your team. There's a lot more stuff for you guys to hang around here. A lot more stuff for you guys to hang around here than it is for your team here. Because look, there's cover here for you as if you're a tank. There's probably an area cover for them. Now, they could come around, true. I mean, but they can come around over here as well. There's cover here. Even when this breaks, there's still cover there. They could still help out, right? There's cover back here. And they can even run away if they have to go here. You're giving them a lot more ways to get out of the situation. Your team can also play up here at this spot and look down. So let me ask you this. Option A. Is it easier to deal with the team when they have a lot of places they can go? Or option B, is it easier to deal with the team when they have nowhere to go? Because if you're pushing this, where are they going to go but this funnel? Now, of course, DPS don't play the same game, obviously. But where are they going to go? The cart's going to move here. It's going to stop here. It's going to give you cover here. It's going to give you cover here. You're chilling. Now, you could use this spot to slow down, but as I said before, you have to think about everybody, not just yourself. They have so many ways to wrap around your team, it's kind of ridiculous. As I said before, they can come up here if they want to. They can sit up here if they want to. They can loop around if they want to. And if your team is chilling right there, they're going to get flanked. So this is the importance of being a great tank. Your tank game will skyrocket. Like, I'm talking about skyrocket if you understand each point on each map. And I know I don't have a guide or anything on that, and I probably should make one, to be honest. But you guys are big boys and big girls. Meanwhile, I still probably will do it anyway eventually. But it is important for you guys to understand these things. Because again, when you win the fight, when you ace them, you can walk back out and you can reclaim what you had. So, very crucial. Let's move forward. Let's get in there. Let's get into the replay. I just wanted to cover a few things. All right, so we're going up top. We're looking to flank. This is not what a dive tank does. This is kind of something that a lot of dive tanks do when they start. And I don't know like how hardcore you are as a dive tank player, like how many hours you have on those type of characters. But this is something that I struggled with too. I try to do the same exact thing. And I'm pretty sure almost every dive tank player started out this way. This is like the first steps of being a dive tank player. Because you assume that if I'm going to dive, surely I have to be unseen. And then I'm going to be in there and I'm going to cause pressure that way. Like, surely that's how this works. And that's not how that works. A dive tank is about presence. This means that you need to be seen at all times. You do not want to be sneaky. Now, there's a time and place for everything. Sometimes you do need to do that to get a KO. Maybe they're stacked so hard, the formation is great, right? And you need to then try to do something a little crazy to get a pick. That happens. But overall, especially in this given situation where they're shoving your team, don't do that. You want to stay here. You want to hold, you can, like I said, you can hold here. You can hold right here and wait for them to come so then you can hop over them. But the real thing that you're looking to do is jump not necessarily into the team, but kind of over them. So you want to do something like this. And what's this going to do is it's going to cause everybody that you just jumped over to turn around. If they don't turn around, you're going to push these guys back and hopefully push them this way towards the left. This means if your team were to take the fight, they're fighting only 4 players and they don't have any healers. I mean, Rocket's going to run away from you. Gambit's going to too, realistically, but you're burning a lot of their cooldowns. And Hulk doesn't really have a lot of cooldowns. Like, he can jump pretty much whenever he wants to. So as you continue to burn their cooldowns and they continue to scamper and run away, they can't heal. You're burning their cooldowns and you're wasting their resources. Someone's going to turn around and look. And now it's making it so it's a 3v5 because you just dove, right? But if you're sneaky and you plop down, maybe only Gambit saw you. And in order for everyone to see you, he's going to have to say on comms, Hulk is here, which I don't even play on comms, so you ain't getting nothing out of me. They're going to have to ping, or your team's going to have to be attentive and listen. Or their team, right? Why do that when you can be successful every time? Ain't nobody about to ignore some big giant green monster hopping overheads. Doesn't happen. So every time you're looking to jump, you want to think about, how can I get from where I am to that spot safely? If you're in cover, right, and you want to line your jump up, Now, this is something that Lord would probably know more than me, because I don't play Hulk nearly as much as Lord does, so I don't know his exact measurements. Now, if it was Cap, different story. But I don't know his stuff, so Lauren, feel free to correct this if you're still watching. Yeah, but Alexa, hello. Happy Saturday. I made it to see the replay reviews live. Yay. Welcome. Yeah, if you want to drop a replay review, check the Discord. Put that junk in there. Good to go. But I'm glad you're here. So when we do this jump, as I said, I don't know his exact measurements, but Lauren would. I would assume that once they get to kind of like right here, if I were to charge fully, I would be able to make it over here and land somewhere right here. You're going to have to line that up yourself. The goal is to stay in cover and leap. Because if you're out of cover and you're running up and you leap, they can shoot you while you're getting into the position to leap. So the important part is, no matter what character you are, dive, tank, melee, or whatever, you need to be in a cover situation so that when you leap, you're not going to be shot until you land. It's the same equivalent as doing this. The only difference is you're a presence. Here, you're not. That makes sense? So keep that in mind. Also, your team can't really see you too. I used to have that problem too, where I would walk up instead of just jump. Just jump in, man. Jump in and just wail. You don't need to walk. Yeah, just jump in that jump. Get in there. Now we're in a situation where timing was off. So timing is something that's very, 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 probably if any dive tanks or even dive DPS are here, you guys know, timing is like one of the most important things ever when it comes to diving, because either you needed to secure a pick or you need to make sure your team is ready to do whatever they're about to do when you dive. If any of that is out of sync, you're gonna lose the fight or you're gonna get blown up. It is such a difficult thing to do the higher you get because teams are so much more coordinated, but the consequence is the same in all ranks. If you mess up a dive, everybody's gonna get run over. So let's go back. We saw that Star-Lord got obliterated and so did Gambit. Why? Well, let's check. Let's check. Oh, your Iron Man got obliterated too. Dude, everybody got obliterated. What happened? I didn't even realize he got obliterated. Oh, okay. So you went in, right? Everybody's like, yeah, let's go with the Hulk. Iron Man's there. Star-Lord's there. Where's your team? And now you guys can understand why I said holding here is not a good idea. Because if you do anything past this point, nobody can see you. They'd have to get out of position to help you. Ain't nobody out there walking the Bucky. I don't care if you was a ranked #1 Hulk in the world. I'm not walking to save you into a Bucky if I'm a strategist. No. Negative. And the Moon Knight? Yeah, not happening. So you're putting them in a really precarious position. You're making it so that they have to work extra hard to help you. And this is something that a lot of strategist players struggle with and a lot of tank players struggle with. Tank players struggle with it because they don't understand that they're putting their strategist in danger. Strategist players don't understand because they don't understand when they're being put in danger. It's literally the most backwards relationship I've ever seen. You put them in danger, we don't realize it. Strategists get in danger to help you, they don't realize it. And then they say no one peels and no one helps. It's because you're going way out of position to help them, but that's because your tank is tanking in a weird position to make you have to do it in the first place. You know what I mean? This is why tank is such a powerful role, because you facilitate everything. You facilitate every single person's capability to play the game. This is why I like the role. It's the hardest role in the game because you can make or break fights like nothing, but it's such a powerful role, but you have to know what to do with it. So you hop in, but they can't see you. You hop in, but nobody's really in position for you. And then because you made a mistake, the entire team shoots you. You get low, you jump away. But guess what? He's committed. Iron Man's committed. Got blasted. Look how close Gambit committed. Look how close. Look, they're all committed for you, but you run away. Look at that. I didn't even know that was gonna happen. I didn't know that was gonna happen. But didn't I just say you're making them you're putting them in such an awful position, not because you're bad or anything like that, but they don't recognize that you're doing it. Everyone that usually plays with tanks, especially if it's tanks on comms, they'll just follow the tank wherever they go. This happens even in Eternity and One Above All. Some players just follow the tank because they expect the tank to know kind of what they're doing. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they will stop if they're like, I'm not playing that game. But a lot of the times they'll just trust you just to trust you. This dude trusted you, but this dude gets grabbed for it. And he gets KO'd. Nobody's fault but yours. It's crazy. It's crazy when you break things down like this. It's crazy when you break things down like this. How much responsibility a tank actually has. You literally KO'd 3 of your teammates. And you still go back in expecting something to happen. And I'm only bringing this up because it's very important. Remember how you said this game felt unwinnable, right? Knowing what you know now, does it seem like this game was unwinnable? And we didn't even get that far in the replay, right? Knowing that we could have been better at our timing, we could have been better at where we're fighting. We could have been better at thinking about everyone else before we did anything. You had a lot more control in this game than you thought. But obviously, you didn't know that. And that's why we're here, right? We're not here to berate. We're not here to trash talk. We're not here to do any of that because a lot of you guys struggle with the same exact thing. So this is why replays are important. I know some people are very scared to give their replay because they want to be seen as like some really great player. But we all have issues. We all have problems. I mean, you see me play on stream all the time. I get clapped, right? But the cool part about replays is the ones that do decide to do it, they allow us to learn from them. So the brave ones allow us to learn from them because a lot of people still struggle with the same exact thing. They just don't want to put their replay up. Whether they have one that they feel they can learn from or they're just too shy. That's why I really appreciate when you guys put the replays up. So it might seem like I'm doing the replays for you guys, but you guys are doing the replays for other people. So keep that in mind. Here, I mean, this is just not a good fight, right? We have to ask ourselves once again, how many fights are in this little section? If we had to think about this stretch of road, and don't think about being perfect with the correct answer. Just throw one out. How many fights do you think are in this last stretch here? So the first part was 1. The second part was about 2. I'm not going to trick you this time. Like, realistically, how many fights are in this stretch? Yeah, it takes the hardest role for sure. Respect to all the tank mains out there. Seriously. It's a really hard role, especially when you're playing something like this, a dive tank. If your team knows what to do, though, dive tank's pretty easy. But dive tank is hard when your team doesn't really know what to do because you have to pay a lot more attention to them. You say 2, 2 fights. Okay. So 1 fight is exactly where we are, right? And you're probably like, Papa, you just said don't fight. Well, we'll talk about it. But this is 1 fight. 1 little fight location. Right? The next fight location, believe it or not, the next fight location is about right here. Believe it or not. You're not going to let them push all the way down because you could actually stop them here. Why is this a fight location? Same reason as before. They're funneled. 1, 2, 3. That's how they have to play the game in this location. Your team has a lot more room to play and a lot more area to play around. You also get the cart right here. What I like to do is I like to break this so that it's more of a flat terrain that I can use for cover and hold it like a wall. So you actually have another spot right there. The last spot, which people kind of don't understand, is typically right here. If they beat your team here, you most likely can't stop it. It is probably going to be over. If you lose at that first point, you should be able to get back to this. If you lose at this point, you should be able to get back to this. But if you lose here, it's game over. So 3. That's how many you are going to be fighting. Most people don't hold here unless they can. But the reason why I'm telling you guys how many fights there are is because you need to know when you can and can't set up for a fight. What is setting up? When you set up for a fight, this means that everyone's in the right location at the right time, right? So if we were to go back just a little bit, before they even broke here, the setup would be maybe my tank is chilling right here, right? Maybe my healers are somewhere to the left or maybe somewhere to the right, maybe over there. I don't know if I'd stand in there. That looks like a KO central. Maybe they're back there in the little tunnel trying to like funnel and shoot you. It's a very awkward spot to fight. I'm not going to be real. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But basically, we all want to be, and remember, use the cart as cover. If it comes out, you can use it as cover and you guys have a little bit of an extra block there to play with. The goal is to make sure that everybody's ready. If we play this clip and the fight's about to start now, is everybody ready? More of a rhetorical question because you guys know they're not, right? I would ping my team back. We lost this fight. We staggered. It sucks. We lost this fight. Let's hold here instead. Anytime your team is staggered, whether you're a tank or not, if you notice your team is staggered, your team cannot play the fight, you're already walking into a lost fight by going to the fight. So we just don't realize it most of the time that our team is staggered. Identify it. It sucks. It is what it is. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of discipline to really say we're going to lose space, because it means it's more work for you guys next round to have to try to beat it, right? I feel. But it's very important because the cart does go backwards, first of all. And second of all, you're going to lose way more if you lose the fight, because then you can't fight. You can't hold this fight if you get wiped that fight. So let's see. Or if you get staggered. So your team isn't ready. Everybody's kind of all over the place. You hop in. Daredevil goes in, guns a-blazing. Your healer, you're going way too deep. Your healers are now forced to try to... This guy is giga close. Did he just dash in? So what? This guy's a madman. This guy's a madman. Yeah, what did you think? What did he... Guy's a madman. But you see what happens when we're not ready. It's pretty much the rinse and repeat. Your team's not ready. You didn't think about where they're positioning. The support said, you know what? Hulk, I'm coming. And they couldn't really do much for you because they were way too deep. We're not thinking about them. That's literally all it is right now, is that we're not thinking about our team. We're more thinking about what we can do. And this is one of those mentalities that you have to break if you bring a tank. And you guys know I don't sugarcoat at all, right? Poppin is not a sugarcoater. Poppin respects you and your feelings, but I don't sugarcoat. You're in the mindset of like, I'm the carry. If anyone has that mindset, you're not going to climb that far. It's a team game. There's 6 players. You're not the carry. Everyone on the team needs to understand that your job is to make it easier for everybody else to play within whatever your capabilities are. You can't really do much if all you're focused on are KOs. Because you're basically saying that, well, if I'm in there, you guys are looking at me. Clearly they're fighting me. I'm here. But that's not really what's happening on the grand scale. Right? You might think that you're in there doing just crazy stuff, but let's actually take a look at their team. Moon Knight's clapping cheeks. Right? Hawkeye's not even there. So they are looking at you, actually. But you said in the replay, or you said in the in the paragraph that you left, Moon Knight was the problem. So why is this guy able to play the game for free? You shouldn't, right? If the guy that you claim is the problem, why is this guy able to just do whatever he wants? So although you are in the back, although you are trying to do stuff, although you might be frustrated with your team, we're not really making it easier for our team. She is wilding. I'd have uninstalled right then and there. Oh shit! I'd have been, Mama Ramos would have been done. But now we have a staggered team where your team wants to play the game, but you're not there to really do anything because you got picked off early, and it's not actually team diff like you were saying. Your team is just as good as their team. We're just not playing together when theirs is. But a lot of that is just from what we're doing. Right? Our target priority isn't there. If Moon Knight is the problem, we need to pay more attention to Moon Knight. But instead, we feel like jumping in the back line is how we win, and it's not. Not in this situation, at least. Like I said, I highly recommend watching that video that I linked, because everything you're experiencing in this match and you were talking about, I dealt with in that replay. Like I said, you're most likely not going to win that fight, so... yeah, it looked kind of hopeless for that last fight there, because it got too far. Yeah, Moon Knight, or Hulk is really good with them. He has such a big hitbox. He just obliterates that guy. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna analyze the situation and we're gonna try to play to it every single time. All right. So we know now that Moon Knight is the problem, and this is why we have rounds. Don't get discouraged just because they got 3. Don't get discouraged just because, you know, they got further than you wanted to. They have a lot of time on the clock. No. There's rounds and ranks for a reason. Sometimes you need a reset. Sometimes your team needs a second to get their bearings back and start anew. That's why there's rounds. So I wouldn't get discouraged, but we do have to remember that we need to play to what we're having issues with. That is timing. Timing, playing with our team, understanding where we're going to be and how to tank with them. Oops, she's slapping you. She's slapping you. She say you need to work out. You need to pay attention to me. You're not working out. You're like, all right, whatever. Whatever. Okay, here we go. Oh, you typing? You typing? All right, I like this. I like this so far. All right, you understand that you don't have a shield. You understand there's a lot of poke damage, so you're saying, I'm going to go to the left. This actually works really well, and your team's going to follow you. As I always say, the tank is the driver of the bus. Whatever you do as tank, bro, your team is about to follow you. Period. It does not matter. So you need to make sure where you're going makes sense for them. This is good. They have cover from the poke. They can hug the wall if they need to. It cuts people off. This is great. I don't understand that, though. What was the point of that? Because you made it so that they can't see you anymore. If I'm with you here, buddy, and then you do that, I mean, I guess I could do this, but I'm all out in the open now. I mean, I don't know. This is difficult because they don't really want to be separated for their team, right? You want to kind of have them together. If you're going there and then you hop over, it kind of defeated the purpose of you going to the left because we're just going down the same road again. And the gambit and whatever would be better just chilling right here to help you out. Okay, yeah. Okay. I'm literally only laughing because I see myself in you. And it's funny because when I caught this is when I first started playing Marvel. When I caught this, I was like, Poppin', what are you thinking, dog? But this is because I had to look at my replays because sometimes when people get mad at you in the match, this is what I learned when I played League of Legends. Sometimes people get mad at you in the match. They might tell you something. And it might feel like crap at that moment because it's like, bro, shut up. You don't know nothing. You suck. Which is probably true. They do. But sometimes there's some truth to what they say. They just didn't say it right. So in this particular situation, I used to think that, bro, I'm popping off dive tank. Shut up. And someone was telling me, like, you're going too deep. We can't help you. You're not blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you're not playing well. But when I watched the replay and everybody got KO'd around me, it went to show I wasn't playing with my team. I was playing my game. You just went from here to here to there without thinking about anybody else on your team. And you can't lie to me and say that you were. Because that does not make that movement is not an I care about my team movement. That's a Poppin' original. That's the selfish one. All right. I've been there. Don't do this. You have to always think about them. I don't care what character you are playing. If you are the tank, you have to think about your team. Because you're not going to do anything without them. Yes, you have all this movement, but you're not a DPS. DPS players are the only ones who can get away with this. And that's why DPS is a more carefree role. You could go wherever you want. You could do whatever you want. But the strategists and the tanks need to actually have structure with their gameplay. Otherwise, everybody's going to get clapped. Everybody's. Chaos became a member. Welcome to Club Poppin' Often. Welcome. Welcome, man. It's good to see you. Thank you for being a member. Thank you for supporting the channel. Remember, you guys, if you guys are members, feel free to add my main account. If you guys lose your membership for whatever reason, you can't pay, you don't want to support me, whatever reason it is, you can still stay on my friends list. I appreciate the support. Thank you once again, Chaos. Huge round of applause to Chaos. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Chaos, you the man, woman, whatever you are, you the best. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. You guys are why I can even do the replay reviews. and all the content that I do. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. So, yeah, that movement was definitely a Pop-In original. That movement was definitely just, you're not thinking about them. And you could tell that you're always trying to have uptime. You got to relax. You got to relax. As I said, watch that Hulk video. It's gonna share with you a lot about dive tank. It's not just about playing Hulk. That's just how I play in all ranks. You're doing too much with no purpose. You're just trying to like be around and jump around and be a presence, and you're forcing a lot for no reason. And even the godlike Lauren, #1 NA Hulk, can probably tell some of the stuff that you're doing, she did as well. Because this is all what we learned at the start. You're not alone. You're not alone. Trust me. We all learned the same exact way. We all did exactly what you did until we got to a point where it just didn't work anymore. And it felt really hard to win. What you're doing is you're putting your team in a lot of corn. You're putting your team in a lot of coin flip scenarios. And it's not just the Hulk. A lot of the tanks do that. Angela does that. Hulk does that. Cap does that. Thor does that. A lot of people tend to try to have really high uptime. And in doing so, you're making it so that your team is in really weird positions. And you're basically doing this. So here's pretty much what happens. We'll draw it. Let's go to our little whiteboard. You were too slow when you started. I was all over the place. But to be fair, I was playing Cap. Okay, so this is pretty much what your gameplay looks like, right? Your gameplay is this. This is pretty much what your gameplay looks like throughout almost the entirety of the match. Right? Uptime, 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 uptime. You just like, bro, you're in there. You're getting it done. You're getting it done. In theory, it makes sense. I'm in the back line. I'm doing whatever I could do. Bro, you guys suck. Help me. Right? In theory. But 5 players, mind you, trying to be on the same exact page. This is more of what it looks like to them. That's pretty much what their gameplay looks like. Can you see what I mean by coin flip playstyle? For every 2 times you go in, they can't play the game. 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 So what out of the 3 times you go in, it's not even coin flip. That's even worse. 1 out of the 3 times that you go in, I don't know if that's for sure because I didn't count, but just bear with me. 1 out of the 3 times you go in, they're ready. The other 2 times, they're not. Putting this into perspective, you're making it so that they have to play way harder to play with you. So when you say team diff, you're not wrong. Ain't nobody in this rank playing like that. I could promise you that. I could promise you that. Any dive tank player playing in platinum or gold, if they're used to being like Grandmaster, Celestial, whatever, even if you're a platinum player, gold player playing in like silver or bronze, you have to slow down. You cannot do this over and over and over and over and over again, expecting them to do. They can't. They don't understand. It's not like they suck. They just do not understand how to deal with you. It's very hard to deal with you because they didn't learn it. I never really say that players are bad unless you're Grandmaster, because I hate all of you guys. But I never say players are bad. Players just don't know. They just don't know. So how do you expect to win matches if you're forcing the player to be way better than what they're even physically capable of? Or mentally. It's impossible. You're going to lose a lot more games just because of that. The goal of a player in a team match, team environment, you have to try to make it so that the game is easier for them. Easier for them. This is what we call being a flexible player. If you are flexible, you will have a very high chance of climbing. Flexible does not mean I play all roles. It does not mean I play all characters. That's not what flexible means. Your gameplay needs to be flexible. Oh, I need to be in there all the time. because my team wants to do that. Flexible. Oh, I gotta chill out because my team is very slow. Flexible. Oh, I need to be flexible. I need to peel. Flexible. I need to dive when my DPS dives because if I don't, they get KO'd first. Flexible. All of that is flexible. All of that is being flexible. But right now we have one gameplay, and that's in. And we feel because if we pressure like this, we get value. If we do this over and over, we're gonna get value no matter what. It only really works for DPS divers because they have the damage to actually make value happen and to be scary. But with the Hulk, he takes a while. Cap takes a while. All these characters take a while. You see how deep you're going? Now, yeah, you capture your point, but you could have done that without getting KO'd because you just basically staggered your team again. Just because you're in doesn't mean you're causing pressure. There's a right place and a right time for everything. The team can't move like the Hulk can, so it makes it harder for them to tell what you're doing. True. Facts. And I will say a lot of your gameplay is definitely sporadic. A lot of your gameplay is sporadic. He has a little theme song when he hulks out in this skin. Bro, I might have to cop. I didn't know. That's nice. I got sidetracked. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Your gameplay is very sporadic. This is why when I play dive characters, you'll see that I'll actually chill out for a while because I want them to know what I'm thinking. You can't necessarily tell them unless you're on comms. So, you know. But if your Hulk is constantly just going boom, 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 just all over the place, how is anybody gonna know what you're doing? But if your Hulk does this, right? Let's just draw it out here. If your Hulk does this, boom, punch, 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 boom, boom, punch, 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 boom, boom, punch, 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 boom. It's like training dogs and cats. What do you feel is easier if you're a strategist player or a DPS player? What is easier to deal with? A Hulk that does this, or a Hulk that does that? It's so much more predictable, right? You could probably tell when he's gonna go in. You could probably tell how long he's gonna stay in, and you could probably tell when he's gonna get back. I do this with Cap. I do this with almost every single dive character because your team can't understand exactly your movements without, they have to know what it looks like before you do it. So a lot of the times if I play Cap, and I only use Cap as an example because he's one of the most freest tanks aside from Angela in terms of movement. When I play Cap, there's usually two ways people will see me play it. Whether you play with me or you watch me play him. There's usually two ways. The first way is going to be exactly what I just said, where I'll hop in, do some stuff, I'll run back and like shield and just wait to get healed. The other way is going to be I hop in and I stay in, but I hop around kind of in the same spots, enough to dodge shots, but enough that my team can see me, heal me, and I'm sitting in the same spot long enough to get the heals. I have to make it so that they see the pattern. I can't just do what I want to do. So one of the main things that I would like you to take away from this replay, because it's just the repetitive thing over and over, and it's actually something that's your Achilles heel. Usually players have a lot of things to work on, but when I coach them or when I do replays and stuff like that, I like to focus on that one specific thing that I feel is the thing holding you back at the moment. You'll learn more later you go, but right now it is very important. It seems like you're not factoring in when your team wants to play the game. And this is actually something that transfers to different roles. This is why I'm talking about it. It's not just a whole problem. It's not just a tank problem. It's a player. It's a player habit. This is what I like to pick up on, the habits. Because if you can curb those habits, you'll transform into the best player ever. Your habit is you don't really factor in your team. And when you think that they suck, you're going to just ignore them entirely. You have to really understand what it is they're trying to do and then play with them. It doesn't matter what role you are. If I'm strategist, I try to figure out how can I play with you? Because, bro, y'all tanks are getting clapped. Like, what's going on? If I'm DPS, same thing. If I'm tank, same thing. It does not change. Even when I'm streaming, I say the same thing over and over again. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what they're doing. I need to figure out what I need to do. And if I am really confused, I'll watch the replay because sometimes I just don't know what's going on. So you have to factor them in. Also, you need to be more predictable. Your team needs to be able to understand what you're trying to do so that they can better assist you. If they don't know what you're trying to do, they can't assist you. They're not capable right now. They haven't seen all the tank play styles. A one above all player that's smurfing with you definitely would be able to help you because we've seen almost everything there is to see, right? We've been through every rank. We know exactly how a bronze player will play, a gold player will play, a diamond player will play, a celestial player will play. Like, you see what I mean? We know this. So when we get to these ranks, we understand what's probably going to happen. But if I took a gold player or a plat player and dropped them into an eternity game, they're not going to know what to do. It's pretty much you're doing the same thing. You're playing in a way that, for better or worse, you're playing in a way that they do not understand how to play with, and it's causing your entire team to shut down. They might be arguing with each other, and the worst part is they'll look at the KDA and be like, "You're 2-7. You're 2-7. That's not the problem, and this is why I don't look at the scoreboard unless I need to get information from it, because the KDA doesn't matter. Just because you're 2-7 doesn't mean you're playing poorly, but it does mean that there's a disconnect, and this means it's because, again, you're doing things that your team is just not capable of doing. When you get to a higher rank and you play like that, maybe, but right now, they need more structure. They don't really understand how to help you. And like I said, in that Hulk video that I released, I say it in that video all the time. It's funny because in that video, if people watch my streams pretty regularly, in that video, doesn't it seem like I have the most patience in the world? I thought about that. I was like, bro, it seems like I'm the most woosod poppin' I've ever been in my life playing this game. And also, does this only happen when I'm recording? am I only woosod when I'm recording, bro? Everybody watching that watches my stream is probably like, you never say this in your stream, bro. If they did this in your stream, you'd be flaming. Look. But no, you have to be patient. In that video, I'm very patient. In that video, I'm very understanding, and I know what it is I need to do in order to win the match. And we do end up winning. I did feel like we were going to lose. I'm not going to lie. I didn't voice it, but I felt like it's probably going to be an L. All right, let me look for the next game that we're going to do. All right. We're going to do Victor, only because Victor has been a regular. Someone did put their replay before you, Victor, but you've been here like almost day one, it feels like. So, although you're not a member, you never really asked for replays, I don't think. And so that we got you, time to put you on the spot. Okay. That was a good replay, though. Does anyone have any questions or anything before we hop into the next one? Feel free to ask. If you don't understand something, feel free. I know usually when I'm teaching you guys just like to relax, which is fine. But sometimes some people might have the same question you have and just, you know, aren't asking it, or maybe they're watching the VOD and they wish someone asked it. So if there's anything that you guys have any questions about, for sure, just fire them off. Fire them off. Okay. I was almost like, bro, I didn't even see your name. What? It's a Spider-Man replay, guys. Victor trusts me so much that he's like, I'm gonna have you do a Spider-Man replay of me. People think I can't play these characters because I complain about them a lot, but it's like, that's further from the truth. Okay, let's go ahead and look at what they said. Victor about to be put on blast. All right, here we go. Reason. I left Cap alone thinking that I don't need to peel for him. But then I realized midway through that my backline was having trouble with Cap and Fantastic. Oh, Fantastic is such a pain. But I feel like I was taking too much responsibility between peeling and going for the backline. Am I doing too much? Also, my mechanics were rusty. First game of the day always makes me anxious. No worries. Not proud of this game. I feel like I wasn't thinking as much about my intentions. I just was going full steam. This is a problem that all Spider-Man players have, even in high ranks. You're not alone. The only difference between high rank Spider-Man in terms of if they play like that, like high steam or full steam, only difference is they're really good at mechanics. Like these fools eat, sleep, breathe Spider-Man, all right? But that's if they are full steam. The regular Spider-Man that don't play like that and they're more opportunist, they are actually very simple in their gameplay. They play like me. It's very simple in their gameplay, but they're just timing it really well that it works out. So usually all dive characters kind of have those two versions to them. But yeah, let's go. Let's see. I don't think I've done a Spider-Man replay in ages. I think yeah, it's been ages. There's not a lot of Spider-Man players. Or if they are, maybe they just have a lot of ego and they never want assistance. But I've done Black Panther, I've done a few Magics, a few Iron Fists. Yeah, I don't see Spider that often. He's just either not played a lot or people just really don't want to get help with him. Yeah, a good Spider-Man is terrifying. Yeah, really is. Really is. Okay, so the goal of DPS is always the same. It's kind of always the same with everybody, but you just have a little bit more power with how you play the game. So the goal with DPS and flexibility. The goal with DPS is to figure out why your team can't do something. Right now, our team is on defense, right? So our goal is to make it so that our team has a better time defending. What is going to break our defenses and how do I deal with it? Pretty simple. You can play however you want to play at the start, but when stuff starts hitting the fan, it's pretty much what you're thinking about. We're going to zoom out just because we want to see the full picture. Venom. It'd have been hilarious if you guys just looked at each other. Instantly go in. You don't have to. You don't have to. I mean, you might not go in. Let's finish watching. You might just be repositioning. Okay, you are. So the problem with this is pretty much similar to actually what we have with the Hulk. Your team isn't really doing anything. What team comp do you have? What team comp do you have? Real quick question for you guys. What are the team comps that we have? We have Poke. Okay, Poppin', you can't draw. Just write it. You write, my bad. So we have Poke, Brawl, Dive. Those are there's a lot more than that, and you can interchange them, but we're just gonna keep it basic because that's the easiest way to learn. Y'all know me, basic. Looking at our team, what type of team do we have? I'm gonna give you guys like 5 seconds to answer this, 10 seconds possibly. I'm gonna drink some more coffee. Okay, I'm gonna drink some water too. I feel like I'm using coffee as a way to like drink when I'm thirsty, but yeah, you're correct. It's Poke, right? It's Poke. Now, you don't need to worry too much about their team because it does not matter. I mean, it does, but just in the sake of the grand scheme of things, it kind of doesn't really matter. You have a Poke team. This means their main goal is to fight at a distance. They're not trying to overextend. They're not trying to start diving people. Bro, we're chilling, we're camping, we're gonna throw stuff out as they approach. So, why are we going in if our team isn't even going to do any of this? They're just gonna camp. You're starting the fight before the fight even takes place. And this is okay if you can get a pick instantly, but let me watch because maybe you can. But if you don't get a pick here and you swing out, you ruined your chance to actually do anything for this fight at the start. So you make them look at you, which is good. You're landing your stuff, which is fine. But again, you're giving them time to choose between Spider-Man or your team. When you are playing, I feel like I don't want to say this because I don't want to deal with this in my games. I feel like every video that I make, every review that I do, I make people better. And then I have to deal with that should we come across each other. And I don't want to. I'm not gonna lie. It's half and half right now. But I'm gonna be nice. How do you get members role for the Discord? If you just at me, I'll give it to you. Okay. Victor, listen once, because I'm not gonna say it again, ever. You don't want people to choose between you and the enemy. Especially because you're pretty much the only dive character. You are the only dive character on your team, which means they can deal with you. When there's multiple divers, even if they're not synergized, they have to choose between which diver to focus on at the given time, right? But if there's only one of you, you become a lot easier. You give them two choices. When you go in early, it's very easy for their choice to be deal with Spider-Man. Especially because your team is a team that's camping. They're a team that likes to sit there and just throw things out. They're poking. You need to wait until they are committed and then play the game. This is what happens when Spider-Mans don't really understand the flow of the fight. And maybe you do, but I'm just saying I usually see this with Spider-Man only because Spider-Man players have a lot more freedom than the other characters. Remember, there are a few phases. You have the pre-fight, right? We won't even have the pre-fight. You just have I don't want to like make things up, but this is kind of important. We're just gonna say the setup. So you have the setup, and then you have the pre-fight. Then you have the full fight. Then you have the cleanup. Okay? If you guys think about team fights this way, it's going to be a lot easier to understand, especially as a dive character, when you're about to go in and what you're about to do. The setup is when players are starting to run towards the area that they're about to fight. People are getting put in nice spots and, things like that. The pre-fight, we're starting to see Spider-Man kind of do things. We're starting to see, like a hella poking and, stuff's happening, but we ain't really start nothing. Full fight is where everybody's fighting. Last man standing wins. Cleanup is when a team notices that they're losing and they start running away or spreading out. The fight's pretty much concluded and the winner is going to be able to take point, move forward, whatever, what have you, right? It's when one side concedes. Let's run this back and let's see which spot Spider-Man decided to come out on. Oop, a little bit further back. I'm getting a new controller soon, so I'm not going to have stick drift. All right. A little bit further. Where are you? There you are. Okay. So remember, setup is when we're all getting in position and we're doing stuff, right? Do you guys think that we are still in the setup phase right now? Or do you think we're in the pre-fight phase right now? Think about the comps. Think about the comps. We have a really poke-heavy team that likes to camp. You also have on their side a few divers. Think about the comps. Are we still in the setup phase or are we in pre-fight phase? During the Spider-Man's approach. You went in right now. It's definitely still the setup phase. You set up because you could do whatever you want, but that's not the entire team. Your team is not fighting out here. Your team is fighting here. Right? So in this regard, why were we fighting? We're going to look and see when the pre-fight phase comes in. So Cap rolls in. Is it a pre-fight phase? Not really, because the team, they're still not ready, right? We're still in the setup phase. Cap's getting in position. Venom's getting in position. It's different for each comp. They're all still getting in position. Nothing happened yet. Still getting in position. Still in position, right? They're still trying to deal with you, but on a team grand scale, nobody's really set up yet. Or nobody's really finished with setting up. Now starting it, it looks kind of like the pre-fight phase. Venom's kind of doing some stuff. Cap's doing some stuff. Mr. Fantastic's doing some stuff, right? You're still in the back line doing some stuff. Now it's a little bit more condensed. You guys are closer to each other. We can start setting up the pre-fight phase. You're still doing your job poking. We're still not necessarily full team fighting yet. Now that Penny's nests are broken, we're in full fight mode. Because the enemy team knows that the nest is no longer there, it's game time. It's game time. So now you need to be ready to fight. But what happened? This entire pre-fight, you got yourself low, you expended all your abilities, you don't have your cooldowns up now, and when it's go time, you have nothing. You expended all of it in the pre-fight phase and the setup phase. So now when it's time to fight, you might not be ready. So let's play at normal speed. There you go in. And now this is the cool thing about Spider-Man. Because he has really high uptime, he can get away with doing whatever he wants to do. It doesn't matter when he does things. But if you want to be a really good Spider-Man, you are going to have to really keep this in mind when you decide to engage and fight. All right. Now we're in a situation where it starts all over again, right? We went through the motions. Setup, pre-fight, full fight, cleanup. We went through the motions. They decided to back up. You guys won the fight. Nobody got KO'd, but they still conceded. This is pretty much how it's going to work every single time. And as you get to a higher rank, as you get to higher ranks, it happens like this a little bit frequently until someone gets picked. So it's something to get used to. Same exact thing. We're chilling. We're chilling. Right now, nothing's happening. So you can focus on Cap. It's not about peeling your team. It's about getting people who are out of position. Everybody can be out of position. Every single player can be out of position. It is not just a healer thing. It's not just a DPS thing. It's not just a tank thing. You're looking for people who are out of position. Who is out of position? This Cap player that can't really get seen by his team, especially when he's getting healed, or the support players that are pretty much sitting on top of their team this entire time. So if we go for that back line, we're actually not doing the correct play because this guy he's out of position the entire time. The entire time. So again, it's not about peeling. This is what you don't want to do. You don't want to think about helping your backline as peeling. Your job is to get who's out of position. Because we're still in the setup phase, moving back into the pre-fight phase, you have time to do things. They haven't actually initiated on your team yet. You know your team is very camp heavy and poke heavy. They're not just going to jump at the enemy team, right? So you know there's downtime with your team. You know the enemy team is going to take a little bit to push the penny nest because it's a relatively slow process. So while they're doing that, focus him. Once that changes, go back to focusing what you're doing. You're not peeling. Don't confuse it. Don't confuse it. Don't confuse it. I'm telling you, don't confuse it. People think peeling is literally sitting on somebody and making sure they're safe. Your healers should know how to play the game. But the issue is, when we have tanks and DPS think peeling is that, you get into a habit where tanks and DPS don't care about their healers, and they say, you should be able to do it yourself. You got to help them still. It's a team game. When you get hurt, who helps you? The healers. When tanks get pushed, who helps them? DPS. What's the difference? So you shouldn't label it peeling because you're going to get into that mindset of playing support. You're not that, but you can still help. So you help them when you have the chance to help them. When you don't, you go back to what you're doing. They got to live and fend for themselves, basically. So you're going for the back line. The team fight did break out, but we also have to see what is out of position. We're so focused on diving the back line. And this is why I put Spider-Man actually lower on the tier list. Because Spider-Man can't get away with this anymore. He's not as strong as he used to be, so he can't, I will say, mindlessly. You have more game sense than the typical Spider-Man. I'm not saying you're mindless, but just for the sake of the explanation. I'm not saying you're mindless though, so it's not about you. But this is why a lot of dive DPS players can climb ranks and have 0 game sense. If you do this over and over with a magic, you're getting a KO. I don't care who you are. You're going to get a KO, and you're going to stall the game, and you're going to stagger the team. And then you're going to go back and finish off everybody else. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Black Panther, same thing. Iron Fist, same thing. But Spider-Man doesn't have... His secure is based off mechanics. It's very hard to secure things with this character if no one's helping Spider-Man do it, especially when these characters start having 275 HP. Right? Spider-Man needs a little bit more help. So constantly going for the backline isn't the right choice because you don't excel at it. And the higher you go, the less this will work. So you have to figure it out now. Yeah, your mindset isn't that great, you feel? Don't worry. Don't worry. There was a Grandmaster Black Panther that was struggling with the same thing. After I helped him, he was able to break Eternity pretty quickly. So it really comes down to that. A lot of dive DPS players play this way until it doesn't work anymore. But you can just fix this right now in a rank that's letting you make mistakes so you don't lose all your games doing the same thing back to back. There's no reason to hit the guys if these guys can't heal anybody. Look at Venom. What is he going to do right now? He's going to fly away, right? We'll swing away. Bro, you snatch this dude up real quick. After his blue bar runs out, he's KO'd. He's out of position. Look at him. We're so focused on diving the back line. Like, that is just how Marvel Rivals, that's what they teach you, basically. Get this healer, get the healer, and then you win the game. No, don't do that. It's not about that. It's not about that at all. You got to get who's out of position because all you're looking for is one KO. If you can KO one target, you probably win the fight. The cool thing about Spider-Man that no other character can do for free is see the entire map, bro. Spider-Man has the ability to see the entire map from a bird's eye view whenever he wants to. Use that information. We're going to go back a little bit and we're going to see what you see on your camera. And we're about to see what you see. And we're going to see if we notice anything. Okay. So we're going to just disregard this spot because it's fine. When you fly around, do you actually like look? Or do you just look at your destination? I'm waiting for you to like actually take off. You're still like down. Okay. Let's just say we look, right? Is there anything you notice at this point in time? Before, like, you have to do it really quick. You have to do it like really quick because you're not in the air for that long. But when you look, is there anything that we notice? Well, what do we notice? Old boys over here. We can see that, right? What else can we see? We can't see Mr. Fantastic because he's not in view. Right? You see Gambit, but we have to say, did we burn this dude's dashes? You can still go for him if you want. We know that nothing's really happening over here, so you're chilling. Like, we're just going based off what your camera physically sees. So in this particular moment, if you were trying to have a high uptime, and you're like, well, Poppin', I'm just trying to full steam it, bro. Your play is this guy. So the next time you drop, this should be this guy, because based off the situation is what you're seeing on your camera right now, right? You don't really have much option. You don't have many options. Right? You don't have many options at all. Like, if I were to give you the options, what's better? Rocket? I don't know what's going on back there. Gambit? You're going to say, well, Rocket, dude's half HP. Yeah, so let's see what you do. Let's see what you do. This is an awareness test. This is an awareness test. Are we aware when we're actually playing the game? Or are we just playing the game? Beautiful. Beautiful, right? You go in, you try to look for it. Okay, you dip out. We're gonna wait for you to start flying again because this is important. So when you take off and you, boom, look down, look down, look down. What do you see? What do you see? What do you see? What do you see? What do we see? What do we see, chat? We don't see Cap, but we probably understand he's over there. Let's be honest. This guy's literally about to get KO'd, and we have a beacon over there. What should we do? If I were you, I would look to go for that Venom. I'm lying. I'd go for that beacon first. Them beacons are like squirrels to me if I were a dog. I'd go for that beacon first. And then I would go for Venom. Because remember, we're still not really fighting right now. We're just kind of doing stuff. You know what I mean? When stuff hits the fan, you have to like know to be in because you need to give your team your presence, right? So right now you can fly around, you can do whatever you want because it doesn't really matter at this point. But let's see. Oh, that wasn't even Venom. That was Mr. Fantastic. So you didn't even get the beacon. You didn't even get the beacon. Now he removes the beacon, but you could have hit it and put it on a lower cooldown. When you do this, this also gives you a second to think about what to do next. Let's just say you kick this, you kick this, you kick this. What do I do next? And you don't swing. You don't swing. You sit here and think about what you're going to do next. So we're going to play this out, normal speed. Let's just say you hit the beacon, it went away right now, right? It went away right now. What are we looking at? What are we looking at? You telling me right now you're not about to snatch this dude up? You telling me right now if you were sitting right here, you're not about to snatch him up real quick? You would lie if you say you're not. I would snatch him up. You would grab him, snatch him, smack him, and he's going to do one of two things. He's going to try to fight you, and in which case, turn his blue shield on, or he's going to swing away. You burned this dude's cooldowns. You burned this dude's cooldowns, which means he's staggered. He can't go back in even if he wanted to. And he's already on the recovery phase right now, right? So you're stalling his recovery phase for even longer. So let's just say this dude does go out. And he doesn't do that because you snatched him. He does not do that. You snatched him. And we punched him. And we play it out a little bit. And Mr. Fantastic does this. You swing back out because now you're done, right? And you want to like look up. You did your stuff. You swing back out. You do your thing. You look down. What's happening? Mr. Fantastic's there. He's there. You're telling me with the power of Spider-Man, y'all can't take this fool out right now? Come on. There's 3 of you, got 4 of you guys there. 5 of you when you sit there. Their healers are nowhere around. Venom would have not gone in. He would have been back there getting healed again. And it would have been a 2-on-6. You create these possibilities when you pay attention. But the thing is, we're focused so much on the backline. We're focused so much on the healers that we miss the entire concept of Marvel Rivals in general. It's team fight, team fight, team fight, team fight. I don't care who gets picked. If someone drops, the fight is over, right? That's what we have to think about when we play the game. And that is one of the core things that Spider-Man players get to do, is be able to survey the entire map whenever they want to. They have that luxury. You would have been over there in time if you actually did what I just said. So we're going to look one more time, and we're going to look when you fly. We're not going to stay too hard on this concept, but it's very important. You turn around, he gets KO'd. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about that. It already happened, right? It wouldn't have happened if you played earlier, but you didn't. We can't focus on that. So we're flying back out again. We did lose our healer. Honestly, this is your best course of action because your team needs you to, you need to trade something. We just lost somebody. Luckily, you see on your kill feed or your KO feed that you guys lost Rocket, but they lost Bucky. So it's fine. We're gonna wait for you to fly up again. Okay, now you guys lost Jeff. So you guys need to trade. Perfect. Bro. No, you did not just... Right there is a prime example, by the way, of what happens if you actually survey the map. You just got lucky to be in the right spot at the right time, but imagine if you always do this every single time you're playing the game. You fight, you do whatever you want to do. I poke the healers, I swing out. What's happening on the map? Nothing. All right, let's go back. You're basically pausing for a brief second. Your version of pausing is different from like Magic's or Black Panther's. Their version of pausing is just kind of like hiding, Like a lot of the times you'll see them hide. Spider-Man looks like he has high uptime a lot of the times when you watch him. But you'll notice there's a difference between a Spider-Man that's like fighting versus a Spider-Man that's an opportunist, as I said before. Right? These Spider-Man, they do a lot, but they don't do much. It's very weird when you spot it. But when you spot it, those ones are terrifying. So, well, you don't have to slow down. Remember, when I coach people or do replays, my goal is to build on whatever strengths you have. Your Spider-Man mechanics are great, right? Even if this is your first match, you're doing some great things. You can't slow down because that's not in your kit style, right? You built up this. You pretty much built up your foundation. I'm not one of those coaches, or I'm not one of those people that'll say you're doing it wrong. Reformat your brain, play this way, because it's not true. We all play differently. We all climb differently, but we need to figure out a way to insert this concept into your gameplay. And the easiest way to do that is when you swing, because you're not slowing down. You're just paying more attention. Right? You're not slowing down. You're just paying more attention when you have free time. That's all you're doing. Free time. You're not slowing down. You're still button pressing, and you just have a little bit. Look, all this is free time. You get KO'd, unfortunately, but again, you kind of lost because of what we did earlier. It wasn't necessarily this particular situation. We just screwed up. We just screwed up earlier because we could have stopped the cap a long time ago. What is this? This is free time. This is free time. You're not slowing down, but you're just analyzing quicker. If you feel like you can't slow down physically because you just want to press all the time, right? Then make your brain work faster. Analyze the situation faster. So that way, your brain catches up with your fingers. Even in that situation, you did. You slowed down. All right, Victor, don't talk to me no more. Bro, I don't know when to slow down. This dude slows down right here, gets a free KO. Why are you pulling my leg? I'm trying to help you, and you lying to me. Look at that. What is that if that's not slowing down, bro? Oh, he got away. That sucks. That sucks. But that's what it is. You are slowing down. You see how you fly in and he jumps? And you kind of hover? That's also slowing down. Analyze it. Just because you're in the air doesn't mean you have to fight. You can choose. Do you just run away? Or not? Well played. Dip out. Nice. The problem with that is we accomplish nothing. I feel like such a nitpicker when it comes to dive DPS players, dude. I feel like I'm like the worst person because it feels like I'm just like attacking you guys. But you accomplish nothing with that at all. You KO'd a target and they're still pushing the cart. Nothing was accomplished but wasting your ultimate. We talked about the places that you can fight and hold. We talked about what team comp you have. How do they use what you just did to their advantage? Well, Poppin, I don't know. If they don't have Rocket, they can't bring people back, and they have less heals. Fair. Fair. Does anyone on their team need heals? Does anyone on their team need to be revived right now? So what do we accomplish other than just bullying the backline? Nothing. If they're not, we just wasted our ultimate. But we did this because we're so backline focused. And again, it's not your fault. A lot of divers, like, a lot of the dive community, I'm part of it. I obviously play divers too. A lot of the dive community really just thinks this is how you play divers. They think just go for the backline, go for the backline, go for the backline. Get the support, get the support, go for the backline. Get the... No, it's gonna lead you down this path where it feels like no matter what you do, you're not impactful. No matter how I play, no matter how many KOs I get, no matter how many things I burn, I'm not impactful. I can't win because but you're setting yourself up for the failure every time you do that. It's a team game. You're team fighting. It's not just about those two strategists. Now, imagine we did what we just did and we ulted Gambit. I mean, he probably would survive, to be real with you. But just imagine. Let's just say Cap never ulted, and we did this play right now. Does this bring your team value? Why? Because the enemy engaged on your team. Which means, how can I prevent them from running down my teammates? That is what you ask your question. And when you fly, I keep saying fly, but when you swing, you'll spot Gambit 1,000%, and you'll go for him. After you go for him, you KO him, you think about what's next. This is pretty much how you play. It might look like you guys won that fight because you played well, but look what happens. Why did you guys win this fight? Was it because your team played really well? Let's see if anybody catches this real quick. Let's see if anybody catches this. Did we win this fight because our team played well, or we won this fight because what? I'm gonna play it slow real quick just to see if you guys got your brains turning. Let's see if we can catch this. So he did get a KO on Rocket, right? But why did they lose this fight? Well, I don't know. We didn't see the rest, but we can say that they lost the fight. They did lose the fight. Oh. Why did they lose the fight? Yes, Rocket wasn't there, which for some reason, I don't know why they even tried to fight that when they didn't have to. You guys are way over there and the cart was still moving. So that mind boggles me in the first place. But, I mean, Cap did get picked. But the healer couldn't see. If I'm playing Gambit and I'm over there and I do this, bro, it's a case of the tank not paying attention to his team. That's all it is. So if you climb this way, where you're only winning because the enemy team sucks, what happens when the enemy team is good? Right? You got to make sure that your gameplay is consistent. Again, for what? Nothing's happening. This is going to be your homework, Victor, all right? I want you to play to whatever team comp you have. If your team comp is dive, be a little bit more uptime with your dives. If your team comp is poke, make sure you wait until the enemy starts to fight or your team actually commits to things before really looking to fight for real. If your team is brawl, just kind of wait for them. You don't have to sit there and do nothing, but I want to see more of a hit and run play style with you. I don't know if you do that because I feel like I haven't watched a lot of your games to really get that down pat, but a lot of your movements seems like you're all or nothing. So you try to get the KO, and if it fails, you run away. But you're gonna have to tell me because I don't want, like I said, I don't know. Do you have a hit and run tactic? Like when you see me play as Cap, you'll definitely notice it. When I'm all in versus when I'm like, bam, I smash you a little bit, bye. Like, do you have like that hit and run tactic? Do you know how to do that? Because if you know how to do that and you can turn that off and on, that is going to be extremely beneficial for you. But I think every single time you went in, you committed. And it just, and you leave because it didn't work out, or you leave because it did. Let's see. So you don't know. Let's just see if you have it. Let's see if you have it. You see how you only run when you mess up? I think I just do whatever feels right in the moment. That makes sense. Is there a reason why you don't just sit here and look, by the way? You were actually up here. You didn't even, you could have just sat. And just wait, no? You need to start perching on walls, bro. That's broken. Okay, now you go deep, right? You have really solid spider mechanics, bro. Don't rely on that, though. Because you can mess that up. You can't mess up game sense. If you understand a situation, you play to that situation, no matter what happens, that lasts forever. Your mechanics will always come and go. You got to get warm. You know, you might get older and might not be able to do things like you used to, etc., etc., etc. So you need to focus a lot on what you're doing and why, rather than just what buttons you're pressing. I'm literally trying to find it where you hit and run. Okay. You see, you don't hit and run at all, actually. That is my homework for you. I want you to practice that. I want you to survey. So write this down if you need to remember. I want you to start surveying a lot more once you fly up and seeing what you can do. Not just going for the back line. That's number one. Number two, I want you to figure out how to do your hit and run tactic. It could be however you want it to be. It doesn't necessarily have to be anything fancy. I don't have the mechanics that you have with them because I don't play them that much, but I can still do it just because I understand the concept, right? Your hit and run is only when you mess up. It is never when you... It's just not a thing you do just to do. Or when you run out of abilities. Or when you get low, you see? Then you run away. But imagine we eliminate you getting low because we just go in and run. That was a good one. That was a good one. I like that one. You smack them a little bit and you dip out. It took this long in the replay to find that for some reason. And I don't know why you went back, other than maybe you were paying attention to Cap. I don't know if you can recall what you did. But I hope it was because you just, you know, wanted to hit and run. Spider-Man actually counters Cap. I actually don't like going against Spider. If the Spider can land his stuff, it's a wrap. Okay. Nice. Oh, you're trying to protect your dagger? Okay. I thought you just dipped out to dip out. Okay, this is a prime example of what I mean by hit and run. When Spider-Man goes in, you're gonna waste resources. You're scary. You're annoying. You get on people's nerves. You're gonna waste resources. Your goal, when you are looking for a hit and run tactic, as any character that's a diver, your goal is to find that threshold that'll make someone waste an ability. As an example, most of the time, I think we all can agree, if you run up on a cloak and dagger, they kind of get scared and they throw the bubble down. True or false? So, in a sense, cloak and daggers are very spooked. As you get higher, they might not do that as much. Your goal is to figure out what the threshold is. Some healers don't react until they get kind of low. Like Luna Snow. She's not going to start clapping until it seems like she's in danger. So you need to figure out what's that threshold for this particular player to make them do that. When you go in on the Gambit, he dashes instantly. This guy has no dash control. So you don't even need to do much to force this guy to dash. Rocket. I mean, he don't really have to dash. He could just run away. But you kind of can see the point. You want to figure out what character you're going for and why, and you want to burn something off of him. If it's Bucky, when you land on him, he's probably going to try to uppercut you to get you, to stall you, right? And then he's probably going to hit you with the ball. Very rarely he's going to use the hook, but it's going to be one of those two things. If this dude uppercuts you, run away. This is why timing is important. Because if you do this when a fight is happening, or when it's about to break out, Cloak and Dagger has no bubble. Gambit has no dash. Bucky has no uppercut. Mr. Fantastic has no grab. You see what I'm trying to say? It does not matter if who you're going for, but you have to understand why you're doing something. This is where we're lacking. And if you figure this out, you're going to be in my games. So honestly, don't figure it out. Because I don't want you there. But it's that serious. But you have to identify this. Look at this. Look what happens when you go on the Gambit. Look how long it takes him to dash. Oh, job done. Dip. Dip right now. Do not chase this. Go for Rocket. He just wasted his dash. And 9 times out of 10, if you leave this guy alone, he's going to try to dash back to this corner. If you can hear it, turn back around, KO the guy. You're securing off cooldowns. You're not securing just because you can fight them. They have cooldowns to survive you. Every character pretty much does, especially Spider-Man. You're waiting for them to burn it. What's their threshold? And you leave. You don't chase. But you see how you chase? He has another one. Right? In what world do you even catch this guy? But during that duration, if you dipped out instantly and you focus Rocket, then Rocket is going to run away from you. He's going to dash. He's going to do something. If he goes this way, job done. Go back for Gambit. Now you split up these two healers and they can't help their team. You're not just going for the backline for the sake of getting the KO. You're fundamentally stopping them from playing the game. They cannot play the game if you do that right now. But we're not thinking about that. KOs matter to us. For what? For what? You can have 100 KOs and lose a match. You can have no KOs and win a match. I think I'd go for the no KOs and win a match. These are the things you're thinking about. This is why I don't focus a lot on mechanics. I have them when I need them, but I don't rely on them because it's not a factor. Just because you can press buttons better than me doesn't mean I can't beat you, right? This is why I can play games like Street Fighter or Tekken and beat people that are mechanically better than me because I just understand the flow. It's got to be the same thing you're thinking. What is the flow of this fight right now? This is a full-on fight. He's ulting. What can I do? You're doing great, but we're just chasing too much. Because now you're out of position when Gambit is with the team. Dude, imagine you actually were on Rocket. This dude's done. He's cooked. And then he dashed back in with his second dash. He's cooked. Bro, if y'all lose this fight, it's your fault. If y'all lose this fight, bro, it's 1,000% on you. 1,000% on you. Okay, you got away with it. You got away with it. But did you get away with it because you were good, or did you get away with it because you were lucky? You can't climb just off being lucky. I mean, you can. Maybe you just got that good luck. But these are the games where people are like EOMM when people thought it existed. These are the games my team threw my match. You just didn't play well enough to win. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. You have these opportunities. You just gotta spot them. You just gotta spot them. Clapped? Anybody messing with Victor? Dude, Victor's our #1 resident sleeper in a Spider-Man. Lawrence, #1 sleeper in a Hulk. Bro. We got him. We got him. I found too much on getting kills. Yeah, you don't want to do that. It's a bad thing to think about. Now we're in the cleanup phase. The cleanup part of the fight is where you finish off people like you're doing, and getting KOs becomes a lot easier. If you had to think back, I mean, anybody can pretty much answer this question, but think about it. Is it easier to get KOs when you already start winning the fight, or is it easier to get KOs before the fight even starts? It's way easier to run down the enemy team when you guys already won the fight. That's where your KOs are going to come from. But you have to get to that point by thinking strategically. Once you do that, you're going to be able to do what you want to do. It's just the KOs are just it gives us that instant gratification, which is why we want them. But honestly, KOs in team fighting games are usually backloaded. You're going to get them later. You're not going to get them earlier. You have to do all this hard stuff first before you get the KOs. Kind of sucks, but that's just how it is. What should I write down to focus on? So the first thing was being able to survey the field as you fly around. I know you don't want to stop, so it's really up to you. Like, if you want to try to incorporate that, if you want to start sitting in spots and just thinking, maybe clinging to walls, and just, you should really get used to clinging on walls. Maybe not sitting in spots, but you should be definitely on these walls, because that ability alone is busted. So, you know, but just survey when you're flying in the air, right? And then the other thing is trying to get a hit and run tactic. Your goal when you're trying to hit and run is about expending abilities. Who can I go on to make them waste an ability? As an example, if you dove a Moon Knight, what happens? He onks you, right? Don't fight him after that. Boat run. Dude can't play the game for Moon Knight mains. I don't know how long it is. Is it 12 seconds? But he can't play the game for a reasonably long time, right? Job done. If you did that before the start of the fight, fights don't usually last anywhere. They only last for like maybe 5 to 10 seconds before you figure out a winner. Dude couldn't even play the game because you just made him use an onk right before. This is why timing is important. So hit and run tactic and being able to survey the map as you fly around, and you'll be able to get a lot out of it. So let's speed run through this. We're going to try to incorporate everything that we've learned so far and see how we can apply it to this second round here. You didn't even look. You didn't even look. You have the ability to do so, but you're so ready to roll out. You didn't even look. You didn't even look. Just go high real quick. Let's survey. Survey. Just half a second. But this is too quick for you to spot things. Because now you have to paint the picture in your head here, when you could have painted the picture in your head from the start. Right? It's something you really got to get the hang of when you're playing them. When you swing high, really try to survey. Ah? Did you just throw it? That must have been it. Where was he? Oh, he just threw it. Okay, swing out. What's going on? All right, right now we want to deal with the spider or the cap in our back line. That's fine. Perfectly fine. Okay. Okay. Okay, same strategy. Same strategy. Same strategy. Look what you just did. Hit and run this guy. Where you at? Where you at? He just dove. He just dashed. No, he didn't dash. I'm lying to you. But he did just dive. Okay, now he just dashed. You probably didn't know because maybe you don't know his sounds. But he did just dash. He cannot play the game for about 10 to 12 seconds. So, is your goal to peel Cap or to make it so that your team has an easier time dealing with Cap? If Cap doesn't have his dive or his dash, he is very easy to avoid. Burn it and then go play the game for about 10 seconds. Come back, see what's up. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. So let's see. Let's see what happens. Remember, your goal is to figure out like why your team can't play the goal of the game. So you guys are on attack right now, right? Why can't your team push? Figure that out. Stop it from happening so your team can push. It's not about securing KOs at this point. It's more or less about why are we not moving and how can we start moving. That's what we're looking for. So we shouldn't be moving around too much because we actually have to think about that at this point. Dude just dashed. You can leave him alone. Don't need to chase him. Dude already used his cooldown. He has his dive, but if old boy goes in trying to do that and he dives in and doesn't have his dash, you KO him for free. You don't need to focus on it right now because he burned his cooldown. This is why you don't get into that peel mentality. Because it doesn't really do much. Okay, we got him down. Good job. You wouldn't have gotten me. I would have dipped. As I said, he wasted his cooldown. I don't know why he went back in. You just get a free KO. But imagine we always thought about that instead of waiting for Cap to make that mistake himself. You know what I mean? You would be making it so Cap just can't play the game. This is why I don't like Spider-Mans that are like really good. Okay, you kind of can't play the game right now, so I wouldn't even try. Just like throw webs. I would basically sit up here and just like toss webs. Boom, boom. Just to be annoying. But you can't play the game. They ulted. So you shouldn't even try. You're just wasting cooldowns. You gotta wait for the Gambit ult to wear. Alright, so the good news is, if we press tab... Never mind, I thought we had Rocket. I was gonna say, the good news is, we have... Okay, we do have Rocket. I was gonna say we have ult, but you had Jeff, so... Alright, again, just playing the game when we don't have to. Our team's nowhere near ready to push, so we're not doing anything. We're skipping just a lot of the phases. Remember, I'm gonna write it back out again for you. Setup phase, right? Setup. Pre-fight. Full fight. Clean up. This is what we're doing. You're skipping steps. You're skipping steps. Now, I'm not going to tell you I sit and think about this throughout the entire game. I don't. My brain just knows now. You know, like after I actually thought about it and took my time, my brain can kind of figure out what spot I'm in. And that's why we practice. So, in order for your team to be set up, what team comp do you guys just not have no tanks? Oh, you guys have one. Okay. In order to be set up, your tank has to get close enough to even make anything happen. So your goal is to say, well, how can I get my tank in the position to push? Where is he? Oh, he's going to portal. Okay. If we were paying attention, you would have noticed that he would portal. I don't know what your Punisher's doing. Guy's crazy. So we're looking for damage onto him. But we don't get anything because nobody's even there to do anything with you. But imagine we flung around, right? And we sat right here. People don't track Spider-Man. I don't follow that character. I wait till he comes in. But imagine portal opens. Like it does, right? Follow me, follow me. Portal opens. They hear it open. And you were like, what up, baby? And you snatch that Bucky up as he goes back. Because you already saw him when you flew in. You seen him. You snatch him. Bow, boom, bow. He's out. He's out. You got to pick for free. Because you know that when Doctor Strange portals, the entire team is going to flip around. This means the vulnerable ones are going to probably be in the backline. Now, Bucky is not super vulnerable. That is a hard character to take out. Don't get me wrong. But everybody's shifting their focus towards that portal. This means that nobody's paying attention to you. And that would be a KO that you would get for free. So think about that. Think about that. Now we do get one on Mr. Fantastic because old boy wasn't paying attention. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. You kind of see how all of this just fell into place. Mr. Fantastic was kind of overextending and getting run over. You swung back in and you just so happened to see Doctor Strange ult, so you ult. That doesn't happen every game. They don't just fall into place every game, right? And this is where players end up getting into such a hard spot, is because players think that that's how the game works. You know, it's supposed to fall into place like that. My team is so awful because it's supposed to fall into place like that. EOMM is real because it's supposed to fall into place like that. No, it's not. Your teams are gonna suck. They're gonna make it hard for you to win. The comp is gonna suck. They might pick characters you don't like. All that stuff is what's gonna happen. It's not supposed to fall into place. But what makes a good player, especially one that can consistently climb, is how you handle what the game throws at you and what you do with that information. The ones that try to wait for things to fall into place, they usually just get stuck, depending on the character. If you're playing a character like Spider-Man, you probably will be a very low rank for a while if that's what your thought process is. If you're playing a character like Magic, you might climb a little bit faster and a little bit higher because that she's capable of it, right? If you're playing Rocket, you'll climb a little bit higher and faster than the other people because he's designed kind of in a way where he gets a lot of value by playing that way. But if you're playing something like Gambit, you're not going to get a lot of value like that. So some characters actually, in a sense, baby players, depending on what the character offers, with that type of playstyle of, I want things to fall into place for me. You know what I mean? Spider-Man isn't that type of character, and you are going to need to make things happen, or you're not going to win consistently, because that's just how he plays. So it's just things to think about. Cap is one of those characters too. I'll admit, like whenever I talk about these things, I feel like sometimes people might hear it in one ear and let it go out the other. I talk about all the characters I play too. I know for a fact Cap is one of those characters. If you just run around, eventually something's gonna happen in your favor, right? At least in low ranks. Eventually you'll probably just win because you're being annoying. But that's you waiting for things to fall into place. That's not the same as forcing a win for your team, you know what I mean? Facilitating the match. So there are characters that I play that do the same exact thing. But for you to win consistently, you have to learn how to make stuff happen yourself. So I think though you are much better on attack, but attack undoubtedly is easier than defense. Alright. We know this. We know this. Attack is easier on defense. I mean, the game is easier on attack. I think we lost this game only because of our timing. That's all it was. That's all it was. It wasn't like you played bad or anything. Like I said, I actually like your Spider-Man gameplay. But it's just a lot of your gameplay that the timing is kind of off. Or you're not caring about anything but KOs during a specific moment where you need to care about more. That's all it is. Your stuff isn't really, you haven't hit a wall so hard that you have way more to focus on. Your core is good enough to continue to climb. It's just we're stuck there because of that. All right. Calm, aren't you lucky? I don't know if you're still here, but I actually needed a strategist replay because I like to do 3. I like to do a 3rd. And you're the only strategist that's there. Oh, Chaos, I didn't know that was you. Well. I'm gonna give you the thing right now. I didn't know that was you. Basuana. Hello. To answer your question, by the way, because that's you, it doesn't matter how many replays you put. I'm just not gonna do all of them, all of yours, you know? So you'd be kicking everybody out if I did all your replays in one stream. But it doesn't matter how many you put. I'm just not gonna do them back to back. Then nobody else will get a chance. Okay. Thanks, Poppin. I wrote that down. No problem. No problem. Like I said, I really like your gameplay, but you just got to be very careful because that character having really high uptime is a problem. You don't need to be. You don't need to be sorry. It's okay. It's all right. All right. I'm not gonna share the stream for this one because this one's pretty short. This is pretty short. It's nice and condensed. So they said, I want to improve in the support role. I play Luna a lot in Loki, but I can play a lot of heroes. So this is just more of a general specific com, or did you have, well, not a general specific, but a general gameplay, or did you have a specific thing you wanted me to talk about as well? Yeah, we'll do yours. We'll do one of yours right after. Is there a specific one that you want me to do first, or you don't really care? Just pick. Oh, we in the G2. Okay, we got some juicy games. I can't stand this rank, so I'm excited because I hate everybody except you, Com. What do you play on? Are you playing PC? Okay. I was just curious to see if I run into you or not. Okay. So, Luna Snow. There was one player that I coached that I coached and did some replays for them. And they were I don't think they were stuck in Grandmaster. I think they breached Celestial 3. And they ended up being top 500 in less than a season. So congratulations to you, Raisa, if you're here. I know you'd be lurking from time to time, but just again, congratulations. They moved over to PC, so they lost all their stuff. But oh, you're not playing on PC. Why did it show up as PC? That's weird. Maybe I'm tripping. No, I saw PC. Maybe it just did that. Oh, it does show. You see? Oh no, some of these people would just be cheating. Oh, okay. I was gonna say because I see keyboard and mouse on console, and some of them be cheating. So I was wondering if that's what I saw when I scanned through. But okay, you play on PC with controller. I do too. Ain't no shame in it. All right. So playing Luna is one of the thing you have to really pay attention to when playing Luna. Loki as well. It's not really anything different between the two characters. Your awareness has to be pretty high if no one else cares about you. And what I mean by that is you need to think about where people are and who's going to be coming to get you in any span of seconds, and you need to play to that. So we'll talk about it once it happens because they do have a Spider-Man, but you'll see what I mean. To clarify, are you on comms with anybody? Like, are you pre-made or are you just talking to people that are randoms? That's what I meant to ask. Not comms. Are you pre-made or not? Just because you might play towards somebody a little bit more, and I want to know. So far, so good. Nice. I do that too. I don't know if you just like ignored her, but I do that too. If it goes too high above my head, I'm just kind of like, all right, bro, I'm not even gonna pay attention. But I think you might have not noticed she's still alive. You don't talk in voice chat or text chat. Respect. I don't either. Okay, I just don't think you noticed that she needed you. All right, you're chilling, you're still healing. So the thing about Spider-Man that makes this guy a problem is that he is able to be out in the open. Spider-Man players really struggle at closed spaces. So whenever I'm going against a Spider-Man, I always think about what exactly am I going against? Like, am I going against one of those Spider-Mans that are high flyers? Am I going against Spider-Man that are grounders? You'll notice it. You'll pick it up each time you go against one. But the rule of thumb that I have is try to find a spot that's very secluded or a spot that's very closed out, because this guy can't jump around and you'll be able to straight up fight this dude for free. So the two spots that I see would be here. And should he try to fight you, you just boop, you just roll around. I actually don't think you can fit down there, but play around this area. Or if you really want to, you can play around this area. I'm pretty sure this is not breakable and it actually has to fall down once you break that right there. But this is another area where you could. Because if he chases you in here, you're not missing. And you just clap this dude. So the goal to play it around a Spider-Man, just for anyone who ever struggles, and I'm sorry, Victor, but we telling on you today. You got to find a spot where they can't just jump around and get away with like missing mechanics and flying away, or you got to get them you got to sit them down. Once you do that, it's really easy to deal with them because they can't do that right there. You would have got them. Just something to think about, especially when one becomes very annoying. Okay, so your first priority as a healer is always going to be heal your team. That should be priority number one. Priority number one is heal. And then once you realize no one needs you, you can focus on doing damage and stuff like that. I know Luna has a lot of damage, so it's a little bit more enticing for her to start trying to snipe people. But healing matters more. If you notice, because you weren't paying attention, this guy needs you. And he gets KO'd because you weren't looking. But that's because we were focused on fighting rather than healing. When you're playing solo without voice chat and stuff like that, your awareness has to be on 10 because nobody's telling you that they need you. No one's telling you that, heal me, please. I'm out of position. They just don't tell you. So you have to be a little bit more aware. You're gaming. You don't really need to focus on healing because you have the invisible woman ult. Just focus on damage. Nice. So far, so good. You're focused on fighting a lot. Wait, who did you climb with? Does this work? Are you just a lucky player? Jesus! What character did you use? You're fighting a lot. Like, you just are not caring about your team at all. I respect it. But there's a time and place for everything. And it seems like you fight more than you heal. It's actually comical. Like, you're the type of Luna that I probably would not mess with because I don't want to fight you. I would just leave you alone. That is not the battle that I want to take. I don't like those type of healers. Okay, now you're healing, which is good. It's a little late to ult. What you should have done was just ulted prematurely. You don't want to ult. In a situation that we're talking about Star-Lord, just look at where your team is before this happens. Okay, so you are doing the right thing. You are actually in a very solid position, but your team is not. So either you got to ping them back so that they just don't overextend like this, or they're probably gonna get KO'd regardless of if there's an ult popping or not. But you can already tell that they're out of position. So what I would have done is I would have walked up a little bit closer too. You have to move with the team. So I put it kind of in a way of like, do you guys remember well, not even remember because it probably still happens. You guys know the dog pile in cartoons, right? You see the whole puff of smoke and people are fighting in it, and you see like arms coming out and legs coming out and and heads popping out, and they're just rolling around all over the place and they're just fighting each other. As a strategist, that's kind of what you want to picture when you're playing. And it's very weird. I have some weird analogies, but work with me. This is going to help dictate how far you need to position, or how close you need to position. So at this moment, the dogfight is like here. There's two happening. the dog pile, right? This means realistically, I can stand here and I'm safe. Should this move and they start like scrapping, then you gotta move back too. Should it go this way, you can move forward. But basically, if you think about it this way, you're always in position to help. You're never too far, but you're never too close. People think about things a little bit too in depth and they make it really overcomplicated. Think about which characters can reach you from there in the distance of like that character, and then you need to stand. No, do pop in original. Think about old school cartoons or new school if you watch them, and dog fights. Position your dog piles. Position yourself far away enough not to get sucked into it, and you're fine. More often than not. It does change every now and then, but that's kind of what you want to think about. So if you were positioning here, what's up, Poison? Good to see you. If you were positioning where she was, when Star-Lord popped that ult, you would ult, and she would be saved. What will then happen is he will turn his focus onto Moon Knight. You will walk up to Moon Knight, and he will be saved. And then he will turn his focus onto Mr. Fantastic. You will all be together, and he will be saved. And this team fight doesn't end up being a loss. Now you could have said, well, Poppin', I didn't want to ult because I wanted to match the support ults. I get that, but these are one of those ultimates where you just kind of have to sack your ult and just keep the team alive. Because if you did just do that, no one gets KO'd there at all, and you guys win this fight. Well, I don't know about win, but at least you have more of a chance of winning. Calm, do you watch me? Or is this your first time here? Like, when did you find this channel? Because your gameplay reminds me of like how I play. But I don't know if you've actually like watched my channel or not, but I think it's hilarious. Because you have kind of like the, for the lack of a better word, I don't give a crap mentality. And you're like, well, we lost this, bye. I love it. I love it. That's literally how I play. Nice. Yeah, that fight was over. It didn't have to be over. Like I said, if we were closer and we ulted, we would have been fine. But given the scenario that people got picked off and stuff, the fight was over, you ran away, you didn't stagger. That was exactly what you were supposed to do. Yeah, you position really freaking well. What? I mean, I guess you don't really have a choice with a character like Luna, but it's really well done. Like I said, I think we just need to focus more on healing because we're just neglecting our team. And we need to position a little bit closer. Like, we need to position based off given the situation. But I think overall, everything's pretty solid. I don't think you'll be Grandmaster for that long. Or you probably aren't a Grandmaster player and you're just climbing through it. Because it doesn't seem like you play like them. At least for now. At least for now. The first half could look really good. That second half, yeah, I'm saying it could change. Alright, so we swapped. I want you to keep in mind that when it comes to Star-Lord's ultimate, you can actually heal through that. Star-Lord doesn't have bonus damage. Star-Lord just unloads his clip with 100% accuracy. So you could potentially just heal through it. Just like a regular Star-Lord clip. So just keep that in mind. Don't always get spooked of a Star-Lord ult because it actually doesn't do more damage. All right, so in this situation, we definitely should be attacking. It looks like you just play a lot of Luna. And that happens when people play a lot of one character. If they're like a one trick, you could actually be a solid character but then you can lack in just fundamentals as a player. Luna's is one of those characters that you need to know how to position. That's why I said your positioning is great, but also Luna just teaches you how to position well. Like you have to, or you can't play the game, period. So it is something that you learn along the way. But as you can see with Rocket, we're not fighting, and we should be. So you're doing fine here. You're in cover, which is fine. But he gets pulled. This means all the focus is actually on this guy, which means that we could reposition right now and just get a little bit closer and start healing from here because you're still in cover. Once they're safe enough, shoot them. So you could probably shoot him right here as he comes in. Now, this is just an example. Obviously, they have the rocket ult, so that changes everything drastically. But it's just an example about, like, we should still look to be aggressive with rocket. We should still look to shoot with rocket whenever we have the ability to do so. Just like you were doing with Luna. Just like you were doing with Luna. But this is only one fight, so I can't knock you. I'd have to see more. Yeah, you're pretty decent at cover usage for sure. That's one of your strengths. Like a strength of the player is you know how to use cover. Obviously, you know, things hold you back. Right? Every player has strengths and weaknesses. It usually kind of works like that. You could be really good at this, but then maybe your stuff you're like lacking here, and that's what's like keeping you. But if you figure out what this is, it's gonna push up, and then it's gonna make, you know, you're gonna climb. That's typically what it is. If you're stuck, it's because, and I'm not saying you're stuck, but just in general, if you feel like you're stuck as a player, no matter who you are, you got to think about it that way. Like, what am I not doing, or what am I probably lacking in that if I did better at it, it would help? And you figure that out. If you don't know, that's why I do replay reviews, and that's why I do coaching sessions. So, link in the description below for both. All right, so we did end up losing that one. I think we lost that one when we didn't use our ultimate on the Star-Lord ult. So you had one chance to really impact that, and because we didn't, we were too far away. We lost that round. I'm not going to say you cost the entire round, but I feel like if that's what we did, we would have been better off for sure. Because we have to reclaw ourselves back. Okay, that's just a positioning issue there. This is a really weird map just for people who are like, how do you even, this map sucks. Like, it doesn't suck like the map is bad, but I just mean getting to the point sucks for everybody. It's just really hard to do. You have two options. You can go with the tank and just hurry up and try to get there, or you can go this way. If you go with the tank and you hurry up, then that's going to make it so that you probably get one shot. But if you go this way, your tank can get one shot. It's a very awkward position to be in, and I can definitely see why you just wanted to rush through it. But weigh the pros and cons about which tanks you have, and then you'll be able to pressure based off of that. We know that Thor was soon in the backline, so we could have used that as our way to move forward instead of trying to brute force our way forward. Because if you got picked off there, your team automatically loses the fight. Star-Lord ults. Unfortunately, not a lot we can do there. You guys just lose that fight. It happens. It happens. Just reset. In a situation like this, don't fight it. Just get KO'd. Because if people are on you and they're going to KO you anyway, you're just stalling. So if you feel like the fight is absolutely lost, just get KO'd. Reset with your team so they don't do anything stupid without you. That's a very important thing to remember. If you can't walk away and regroup, then just get yourself KO'd. Okay, so now a lot of what we're doing incorrectly, or what we could work on, is ability usage. So I saw it with Luna Snow, but the game didn't go long enough for me to really see it. But Cloak and Dagger tells on players, because her abilities are a lot more important. We're kind of just throwing them out. So we need to be very aware of when and why we use our abilities. Cloak and Dagger's bubble is like one of the most OP healing tools in the game. So you need to make sure that it's healing something that is very dangerous. If we look at their team, what do they have that's potentially dangerous? So Star-Lord coming in and doing a spin is pretty dangerous. Bucky getting a pull is pretty dangerous. Those are what we're looking for. Now, obviously, your team can get low and you need to throw a bubble, of course. But if we watch it, you can see how much damage they actually take and when would be the best time to throw the bubble. We shouldn't just be throwing it out. So let's see. You see how you just tossed it? For what, though? Right? Now, your Iron Fist is getting clapped up, but he's not on your mind right now. So I think we need to work on the awareness of paying attention to our team, because we do like to fight a lot. And we need to work on our ability usage. That's unlucky. I'm not even going to talk about that because you already know, but that's unlucky. Another trick to Cloak and Dagger that a lot of Cloak and Daggers don't do, but if you want to be godlike, this is what you can do. All right, I'm about to drop some poppin' knowledge. Everybody, make sure you listen up. How many more reviews will I do? I have one more that I was planning on doing, which was going to be Chaos's. And then I don't know after that. We'll have to see. But here is some Cloak and Dagger advice that you might not know. So this is going to be a very hypothetical because you know what? What I'll do is I'll just go back to the beginning. That's what we're going to do. All right. So here it is. When you're playing tank and you're trying to push this point, mostly what you're going to do is you're going to walk to here or you're going to walk to here. Right? Now, this map is weird, but pretty much most tanks, when they're pushing, they're going to go from point A to point B, and that's kind of how you move forward. You don't just walk. You have little spots where you stop, get a few heals, move forward. The trick, if you're trying to get your tank to push and you're trying to heal them, the trick is to throw the bubble where they're going. So if he's going to make his way slowly, if you toss the bubble right here, again, example, because I don't know what this tank was doing. Imagine it's a different map. But if you toss the bubble right there as he's making his way, the tank's going to feel a lot more confident, by the way. But it also means you don't need to do a lot of work to heal. And by time you need help, because the match most likely just started, depending on what map you are, by time you need help, it's back. This is a great way to help your tank go from point A to point B to point C to point D without actually doing a lot of work. You're kind of facilitating where he's going to go by tossing your bubble preemptively to where he should be going. You know what I mean? Like a little dog. Go catch the ball. Go catch the ball. It's broken. I promise. Try it in your next match on a map where your tank's going to have to push something and start throwing it a little bit further ahead of them into a spot where they can use cover or into a spot where they can move forward. A lot of tanks don't like to go backwards, especially when you're dealing with a Cloak and Dagger bubble. But, you know, sometimes you have to. If you learn how to throw it ahead, you're going to see a lot more tanks play a lot better. And you're also going to start seeing your tanks be more confident. It's actually so broken. It's actually so broken. But not many players do it. Not many players do it at all. But it's so broken. This also means you as a healer understands where they should go next too. And it just helps it helps the entire team just have a better understanding of where to go and where to be. I wouldn't do it this match because, like I said, this map is weird. But I'm telling you, try it in the game. Try it in the game. You're gonna be like, okay, Poppin', I see you. I see you. It's that good. It's that good. All right. So anyway, you lose this fight. Well, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Not your fault. Bro just opened up with Star-Lord ult. What are you gonna do? All right. I will say on that Cloak and Dagger ultimate, we probably should have waited for the Star-Lord. So pretty much you have 3 types of ultimates here. Trying to get out my handy dandy pin. So the first type of ultimate you have generally is going to be an offense. For the actually, people don't usually use their ultimates that way though. Whatever. We'll just say we'll just go in a row. So we have offensive. Number 2, you have defensive. Number 3, you have pretty much wipe, right? So the way that you play these ultimates are very important. Cloak and Dagger has all 3. We can use it to engage. That's what I meant to say. That's what I meant, not offense. I knew I was tripping. Okay. Well, we're just gonna use it as offense, but you could use it to engage, right? Defense, you're usually using it to okay, yeah, okay, I get it. I knew I was tripping. My brain is just not working today after so many reviews. Okay. You got this. Redo poppin', reset. So you have engage. You have counter. There you go. Big brain now. And then you have wipe. That's what I meant to say. I don't know where like the defensive and offensive came from. Maybe I must have said that in another game or something like that. But these are the 3 types of ults you generally have. You have the person ulting because they want to engage. You have a person ulting because they're trying to counter the enemy ultimate, right? And then you have the wipe ultimate. And this is something where you use it to just win the game. Like win the fight. Just it's not necessarily engaging. You're just using it to win. So Cloak and Dagger, sometimes if their team is struggling to get the point, you'll see them engage to start the fight, right? But it's different from when Cloak and Dagger doesn't need to engage and they're close enough and you're just using it to just KO targets. Bit different. And then the counter one, as I said before, you're countering another ultimate. And this goes for everyone. This is not just a strat 1, 2, 3. This is literally all characters in the game. You need to prioritize. You need to prioritize the wipe ults first. So when you look at their team, who has a wipe ultimate? It's going to be Star-Lord, and it's going to be Bucky. I mean, realistically, if the Phoenix is good, she can have a wipe ult too. But we're not gonna play that way. These 2 characters are the only ones with wipe ultimates. Right? This means that this takes priority over all the other ones because you can't play the game if you get wiped. So I know in the core of your bones, you wanted to ult because you wanted to fight on point and not when there's a wipe character. Bucky, I honestly don't ult his ult unless the dude's a god. But if we press tab, has he been popping off? Okay. Kinda. But I don't think it was him solely. Obviously, Star-Lord's more of an issue. So I would probably be ulting the Star-Lord. So this entire game, after that first time he wiped your team, you save ult for that. It's weird, it's hard, I know, but you're not gonna win the game if he's able to ult after your ult anyway. You're gonna lose the fight every time. So I only wanted to bring that up because we ulted this. But we only did that because you heard you are nothing. And, you know, rightfully so, but it's not really a wipe ultimate unless she taps you first. That ult, because you didn't plan it, you just like, you reacted. It wasn't a planned ult. It actually got you KO'd. This is what a lot of Cloak and Dagger players suffer with when they ult, is they end up in a situation getting KO'd, but they only get KO'd because they react ult. They don't actually think about the ult before they fire it off. In this particular match, we would need to only ult when Star-Lord ult. So it's not your fault that you got KO'd by that Magneto, because he would have landed that anyway. He put you in such a, like, well, I guess he didn't do it, but you were in such a bad spot that there was no winning that situation. So getting KO'd there, don't think like, oh, I could have ulted better. You were just, you're going to get hit. There was no way to avoid that one. It was just such a hard spot to be in for that moment. You're going to hit anyway. I wouldn't even worry about that one. But just when it comes to the type of characters you're going against, yeah, ulting for him is important. Ulting for that Star-Lord is important. Because if you don't have, he's going to wipe your team. Okay. He tried. I respect that mag. That boy tried, because I would have done the same thing. I would have just held my Magneto ult. The problem is he didn't just hold it. He tried to throw it, but he should have just ate the entire thing. Either Star-Lord's going to not shoot and his duration wears out, or you'll just eat the entire thing and there's not really much left for Star-Lord to KO a team with. So he actually played this part poorly because he shouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have gotten KO'd if that was a better player. Not saying he sucks or anything. I'm not calling him out, but I'm just saying if that were a better player, that wouldn't have happened. You wouldn't have gotten KO'd. You'd have been fine. So that one's not on you. Now, obviously, if you did have your ultimate and you didn't waste it, that doesn't happen. But just given that scenario, nothing you can do. He should have saved you. He should have saved you. Okay, so for this game, you're actually a really, really solid player. Like, you're the type of support player that I probably wouldn't mind having on my team. But your gameplay, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, obviously, so let me know if I'm wrong, but your gameplay kind of gets shaky, especially once you start losing. It's not the same. You start to try to like figure out how can you win, and you're not as confident as you were at the start. So what I recommend is to stick to your guns. You don't need to swap characters all the time. You don't need to change up your play styles. It's not your fault that your team gets wiped. I don't know if that's what you think, but if it is, it's impacting your gameplay. It's not your fault. Some fights you taking L's on. It is what it is. Just think about what you can do for the given situation, and then you'll be able to do fine. The reason we lost the first fight back on the first round was Star-Lord ult. So now we got to factor in, well, how do we deal with that? Save my ult for a Star-Lord ult. Okay? And then should another problem arise, you figure out that problem. Figure out the next problem. The next problem. The next problem. It just seems like you're trying to do way too much. You're trying to do way too much, and you're trying to be all these things that you just can't be because you're only one player. So your core fundamentals are solid, but when you start getting shaky, when you start trying to figure things out, your gameplay just goes down. You could tell you're not using cover anymore. You could tell you're not like using abilities how you did anymore. It's all over the place. So what I recommend again is just, it's not, understand team wipes aren't your fault. It's okay. They happen. Reset. Take a breath. Go back. I would also work on just my ability usage in the first place. It's not bad, but it needs to be better if you're trying to climb past Grandmaster. Grandmaster, in my opinion, is like the first hurdle. Grandmaster is pretty much the rank you get to once you realize that you're better than average. But it's not necessarily still, like, it's not a bad, like, saying Grandmaster players are bad is like dumb. Obviously, they're above average. But what I'm saying is, like, in the grand scope of things, I think that Grandmaster is the bronze. Like, it's like two parts of climbing: bronze and diamond, and you prestige. You know, so like if you were level 100, you prestige, and you go back to 1+, 2+. You're prestiging once you hit Grandmaster. So you did the work, bronze to diamond, great. Now we're Grandmaster, we prestiged. We're doing bronze to diamond again. Grandmaster is the bronze of high rank. So you are better than average, but what you're doing now isn't enough. And that's what I'm talking about, your ability usage. That is something that you are going to need to improve on if you really want to skyrocket. You're going to need to know when I'm using it and why I'm using it. Not your ult. I don't think you have bad ultimates, but just your clap, your snowflake, your bubble, your curtain, like that type of stuff. It's very important that you need to learn how to use back to back. And as I said before, the other Luna that I was coaching, that player was bouncing between Grandmaster 1 and Celestial 3. And that was one of the things that we talked about extensively because he was definitely having trouble with it. We talked about that extensively. In less than the season, he hit top 500. You skyrocket from that. But the thing is, when you hit Grandmaster, a lot of what you know or what you see isn't obvious. If you're a bronze player, you can see exactly what's wrong, right? Silver, you can see it. But as you get higher and higher, things start to become less obvious, and you don't really know unless someone like actually tells you, or you look at your replay and you figure it out yourself. But it's not as glaring. But right now, your ability usage definitely needs the improvement. Okay, let me catch up what you said. So you said, I play Luna because she can damage a lot as support. True. And as I said, I like that you fight. That's not a bad thing. Do not turn that off. That's great. You're doing a good job pressuring, right? I'd definitely rather have you fight and be a 6th player than have you heal bot and have us only have 5. So don't take that away. You're doing exactly what you need to do. That being said, it's getting mixed. You're mixing yourself up. There's a time and a place for everything. And you can tell sometimes you need to heal, but you're fighting. Sometimes you need to fight, but you're healing. It's backwards. So you got to try to find your groove. Everybody's okay. Everybody's healthy. Let me go ahead and fight. The dive tank came in. We survived. He jumped out. Let me go ahead and fight. You really have to think about that. When you're dealing with a poke team like Phoenix, Hela, Hawkeye, stuff like that, they're fine until someone gets shot. And then they're super low. So you need to, it's a little bit more high uptime with heals when you're dealing with a poke comp than when you're dealing with a dive or a brawl, because dive and brawl characters are generally window based. But Phoenix and stuff like that, you have to be more aware because it's not window based. Their uptime for damage is almost the entire match because they don't have to stop, only to reload. So once we figure out those moments where we need to heal versus when we need to do damage, and you start getting into that groove, phenomenal. I like that you fight. Keep that up, for real. And I went Rocket because my healing was bad, then I swapped off because of Firewoman. I don't think your healing was bad, though. That's what I'm saying. Is I think you get in a mindset where you feel like it's your fault. It's not. It's not your fault. But then that shakes up your gameplay, and you start doing all this other stuff to figure it out. Take it from me, you are a solid player. And I think everybody who watches my content knows I'm gonna call out a strategist any day of the week. Any day of the week. Your core gameplay is actually pretty solid. I would not throw that away. I would not try to change that. Your healing wasn't bad, in my opinion. You were doing what you need to do. The only reason why you might have thought it was bad is because you're not paying attention to your team. If my teammate gets KO'd and I'm fighting someone, and this happens on repeat, and I don't notice that's what's happening, then you feel like your healing is bad. But it's not. You're just not paying attention. Big difference. Big difference. So trust. You trust you. You're better than you think. Then I saw the C&D, but Mag killed me, so I went back to Luna. Again, wasn't really your fault. You were just in a bad spot. You didn't have to keep swapping. When you swap like that, you're staggering your ultimates. You're giving up that charge. So when you swap, you got to make sure. In fact, I got firing popping one. That's funny. Also, I don't watch your channel at all. I saw you on YouTube. Oh, I'm glad. Welcome. Huge, big welcome to Com. Welcome. Good to see you. Yeah, I do reviews on Saturdays. So not just you, but anybody else who wants to pop there, they're reviewing. Go ahead. It'll be in my Discord. You seem chill. Thanks for the review. Yeah, no problem. So yeah, I would definitely focus on your timing of when you fight and when you heal. I would definitely focus on your timing when you're using abilities. I think your core gameplay is fine, so don't try to fix things that you can't realistically fix. Your team, if they get wiped, they get wiped. It's not really your fault. You just gotta. It's what it is. What you could have done differently that would have saved this game, or at least that first round, was to ult when that Star-Lord ulted. It kind of started to go all downhill once he was successful. So if you did ult during that, you probably would have saved that first round. And then as for the second round, your Magneto just kind of let you get clapped up. Because literally that Magneto just let you perish. But yeah, I think aside from that, everything's pretty solid. I would just focus on those two things. And I honestly, because you're the type to swap to figure things out, swapping is dangerous. Because if you get yourself in a position where you're swapping and it's not actually a good time to swap, you're kind of subconsciously training yourself to swap whenever things get rough, not to swap your gameplay style. So when people swap like that, I mean, just not just you, but everybody in general, you have to be careful. Sometimes you just got to take a different approach. It is not the role and it's not the character. This is why when I swap, I always give context to why I swap. Oh, you'll never see me swap to a character without some real context. Because I'll just say, I need to play this differently. I need to stand over here. I need to do this differently. I need to do that differently. And if that doesn't work, if I exhausted all of my possibilities with that one hero, I'll swap. But your reasoning was that you didn't heal enough. But that was false. You did. But we didn't really think about that when we swapped. We just thought that, you know, having higher uptime on heals would make us win that match. And that's not correct because that wasn't the issue. You know what I mean? So I would trust yourself more. I would trust yourself more. All right. Any one of the tank ones? You don't care which one? All right, Chaos. Let's pull. Holy! You dropped like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 replays? Oh, 7 replays, bro? What do I look like? Chaos over here trying to put me to work. Relax, fam. Jesus. I mean, a lot of the reasons for some of your games are pretty similar, though. But we'll snatch up this one. And we'll do these. So your reasoning was, I want to know, or I want to understand what to do in these kinds of matches. Because I just lost on how to get better, or how to do better here. Okay. What was your name again? Yeah. You're playing Thor. I've been playing a lot of Thor lately. Character is giga fun. You've been stuck in Silver 1 and Gold 2 between them for 3, or since season 3? I got you. It's probably something really, really simple. Looks like we gotta do them all. Definitely not. Definitely not. FaZe, hello. Good to see you. Oh, you played Thor later, but you're playing Mag now. Okay. Puka with the new Angela tech. Uh-oh. Don't get Puka started. You can't go from Thor to Finny. No things right for you. Yo, facts. Just always work. Just always work. All right. Here we go. So Magneto is really just about positioning and just knowing when to go. I would definitely be very cautious on using your bubbles. I know you have them, but you don't need to spam them. All right, so here's one simple thing that'll make you godlike. All right, here we go. Y'all ain't ready. When you're playing a tank and you're pushing, what is your goal? Well, get to the point. It's right there. Pretty obvious, Poppin'. Cool. You have a couple of ways. You can go left or you can go right, but the main goal is still the same. Getting to there. In order to get there, you have to do what? Push through these people. Right? If they were AFK, you would simply take the point. You don't want to fight these people. They're just there. So you have to. In order for you to go forward, they have to go back, right? So this means that you're creating space. You're making it so that you can occupy what they're leaving for you. How we do this, though, is what separates a average tank from a great tank. You have to figure out how am I going to get to the point without taking damage, or at least minimal damage, because you can't just straight up walk. That's not happening. So what you want to do is you want to play walls. You want to play corners. So what you're going to do right now is hold this point, and then you just fight from here. Once you think it's okay, which is basically right now, you would bubble yourself, or you would shield yourself, and you would walk past this. What this does is it allows your team to continue to heal you from safety, because they'll be here, while you're also creating space. What you're doing right now, they don't know they can use that cover. This is something that you'll see a lot when I play on Ultimate. Alternates? What? Alternates. Even when I'm not, honestly. I can play on my main. Some people don't realize they can use cover until they see me do it. So I sometimes, if they get picked off by like Hela or Hawkeye, I deliberately go really slow. I deliberately show them that I can do it. So I sit in cover for about 2-3 seconds. And I will walk from here to there. And then in their brain, oh, I do that too. And they're able to heal you from here. And then once you get to this point, right, they can't see you. See? How does Star-Lord actually do anything from here? They can't, right? You're focused on Iron Fist. And then once Iron Fist runs away or does whatever, you focus on him. As you see, when you use cover, you're minimizing damage, but it's not because you're blocking shots. You're cutting off people from your vision line. If I'm standing here, there's 3 characters that see me. Iron Fist, what's his face? Star-Lord, and then the guy up there. Who's that? Moon Knight? Oh, it's Venom. Venom, right? They're in sight lines. But if I am only in the sight line for like 1 to 2 seconds, moving over, now only Iron Fist sees me. When Iron Fist leaves, now only Venom sees me, right? If I play like that. And then now only Star-Lord sees me. If you fight Star-Lord, and he runs away, same thing. Bubble yourself or shield yourself when it's okay, and walk right here. I would walk here, to be real with you, because walking in there, it might screw your team up. Walk right here. You're still in cover. You're still doing good. You pushed them off to space. Now, you have to be careful, because the problem with Magneto is if you overcommit to stuff like this, you're going to get too close. When you're too close, you're going to get KO'd. So it's a little bit difficult with that character, because he doesn't have a way to move. But you're getting space. And as you move, they'll start backing up. Right? People right there will start backing up. As they back up, you continue to walk out this way if you would like. I typically do wide rotations. You don't have to, but it's totally up to you. I do a lot of wide rotations because I want them to look at me as I'm doing it. And as I'm doing a wide rotation, it's definitely situational. But as I do the wide rotation on maps, they're looking at me and my team can kind of flood in however they wish to flood in without really paying attention to where they're positioning and why they're positioning. If I do it more tight, if I go from here and just walk forward, their team could still light up my team as I'm moving. And it's a little bit harder for them to move forward. So that's pretty much how you do it and how you push forward. You shouldn't walk out. You need to use something, make your way to something else, make your way to something else, make your way to something else, and eventually you'll end up on point. Hey, Poppin, still trying to get to GM, this time with no mental block. Is things still solo queue viable? Yeah, I think he's really good. I think he's still one of the best tanks in the game. The character's broken, like really broken. I think a lot of why that people think the thing isn't good anymore is because just in general, when characters get nerfed and you can't play mindlessly and you really have to think about what you're doing and why, a lot of people consider characters unplayable. Iron Fist went through this. The dude could do whatever he wants. He still can, let's be honest, but he was way worse before. After he got changed, people had to think a little bit more. He couldn't have high uptime and just do whatever he wants. All of a sudden, Iron Fist is unplayable. No, that's not it. You just got to play better. So in the Thing's case, they made him better. But because a lot of the players would use the Thing in a way that, you know, NetEase didn't really intend, right? Jump in, punch, backline. I'm invincible, basically, and I can run away. That doesn't work no more. You do that, you're going to get one shot. That's not unplayable. That's removing one of the toxic gameplay loops that people don't want to deal with. So is the Thing still viable? Definitely. Do you have to think a lot more? Definitely. For sure. Chill Murray with the Poppin membership. Welcome back to Club Poppin. I wish I could tell you how many months that is. How many months is that? Can I see? You know what? I can do it. Hold up. I gotta see. We got, how many months is this? How many months is this? How many months do we have for old Murray? So this is your second month, I believe, or third. I totally forgot, bro. How do I forget my own membership perks? I'm appalled. I think it's 3. Wait, I can figure it out. I got it. Hold on. Okay. It's 2. Okay, second month. Poppin'. I'm smart. Trust. I'm smart. Wait. You guys are like, Poppin'? What about the review? Wait, I need to know now, because now I feel so useless. I need to know my stuff. All right, let me see. I have it here. Okay. So you are on your second month. Welcome back. Glad to see you back. Thank you. I appreciate you and the other members that make all this possible. Thank you so much. Without your support, we wouldn't have any of this. So all of you getting free replay reviews, also thank them as well, because they are why you're getting the free replay reviews. Moffat chasing the rat. Look, I wanted to know for sure. I need to know how to do it. Okay, let's get back. I wasted too much time. Okay, here we go. Huge shouts out to Murray, though. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for supporting the channel. Okay, so you see kind of how you're out in the open? It dictates to your entire team that they should all be out in the open too. And when stuff like this happens, it feels like, how do you play the game? Bro, how do you play the game with my team just all over the place? Like Daredevil, why are you frontlining, bro? What are you doing? Thor, I don't even know what you're doing, bro. Like, what is even happening? Rocket, is he even healing you? Tell me that wall just got there. Tell me that wall just got there. Okay, it did, but old boy didn't even realize it was there for like 3 seconds. These are your teammates. Throwing that one out there. They're not mine, they're yours. But this is why it's important for you to have structure in the gameplay. Hold on. I see another comment by Mega. I feel like I'm missing something with the thing. I find myself making little impact when I'm not counter diving or countering a dive. You might just not know how to play dive in general. I don't think I have anything on the thing. I actually do. I think I went over it last week. There was a gameplay of someone's thing, and we talked about that. He has a lot of impact. You just got to know how to do it. And I think it was last time we went over that. So check that one out. There was a replay talking about it, and they had that same exact question. All right, but yeah, your team is just not it. So we need to make sure that we are periodically stopping for them to catch up to your gameplay. This is why using cover is important. Because if we stop here, we can take a brief little look and notice, okay, well, I don't know what Rocket is doing. Oh yeah, it was Gino. You're right. It was. I don't know what Rocket is doing. Let them reposition before I try to move forward. But we're taking damage for no reason. We're just hopping around. There's no strategy here. We're just trying to brute force it. Remember, at the core, it's a strategy game. Go over here. What this also does, and I said it's one of the most important things, y'all already know. What this does is Gino stuff. We're gonna skip that. What it does is it makes it so that the enemy team looks at you. As I said before, remember when I said rotating wide allows your team to funnel in without pressure. Well, you going from here to here makes it so that you can take some of the pressure off. But if you start shooting these guys, they're going to run over here or they're going to run over here. You're slowly pushing them away so that your team can rotate in. Think about it as you're moving 12 players. You're not just going to the point. That's not really, I mean, it is, but there's a lot more unpacking in the actual fight scenario, in the core thing. You're moving players. That's what you're. How do I move you? How do I shepherd you? You're a flock of sheep. How can I do it? If we think about it that way, as they are a flock of sheep, right? And you have that dog running around trying to chase them from getting out of line, right? If they should be over here, what's the dog gonna do? The dog's gonna run here, and then they're gonna herd them over here, right? What is the difference between you doing it from here and then shooting them? It's the same concept, right? This is what you're doing as tank majority of the time. You're figuring out a way to move players so that you can do whatever you're trying to do as a team. Now, sometimes it gets a little bit more complicated because there's a character that might be keeping you from doing that. And when that happens, you rely on one of your teammates to help you out. So as an example, let's just say you are wanting to you're playing Strange, right? And you want to brute force this Groot off this point. And you're like, I'm going to walk in. Well, what's going to happen? You're going to get walled. So it's not that simple anymore, is it? So it takes different shapes and sizes. But theoretically, you're trying to figure out, how do I move somebody? Tanks can do it one of two ways. The first way is presence. So this is how the Hulk does it. This is how Cap, this is how Thor, this is how Strange, all these players, the thing, they're like, bro, what's up? And they're like, I don't want no smoke, right? If they hop in, bro, what's up? What's going to happen? They're going to run. They don't want to smoke. If Thor walks in front of Venom or Groot, It starts lighting them up, they're going back up, right? A lot of it is presence. The other one is abilities. And so this is more about how Magneto plays. Magneto can't do that because the dude is weak up close. He's a poke, tank. He needs to do damage consistently to then have the high numbers. This is why we take the approach kind of softly. We go here and we use our advantage, which is damage. It's going to move them back that way. Abilities, presence. Those are the only two ways you're going to be really making something happen with the tank. Now, obviously, you can do both. Some tanks do both of them, which is fine. But usually one tank is better at one than the other. And if you can abuse whichever one you're better at, you'll be able to win. It's the same with Penny. So with Penny, abilities, right? How would it work? Well, if you want to get people off of this spot, you're going to put your nest in somewhere safe, and you're going to connect the web, and you're going to put the web under their feet. And if they back up, you put it under their feet again. So it's not Penny being scary, it's the web. Ability versus presence. You're trying to move the team over, and you're trying to figure out, how can I move you one of the two ways? Got it? If you don't do it that way, your whole entire just everything's gonna crumble. It's gonna feel like you're just having an uphill battle, and that's pretty much what happens when you don't have that foundation. You see what I mean? Like, what do I do here? I got walls and well, if you played how we talked about, this wouldn't even be happening right now. Because when you're tanking into Groot, well, actually, we'll cut the segment off there. But we'll talk about Groot. I just don't want to overflood you. So cutting that off, right? Before we hop into the next point, you are trying to herd the sheep. Once you herd them, you'll be good to go. Let's let that sink in. Move on to the next one. All right. So now the second thing we want to talk about is, how do you tank into Groot? A lot of players think Groot is just the most insane, busted, auto-ban character ever, but that's because your tanks don't know how to tank into them. And your healers don't know how to play around them. When a tank doesn't know how to tank into a Groot, it makes everyone else struggle, because they have to learn how to play around Groot. If the tank knows how to tank into a Groot, no one has to struggle, because it doesn't matter. You know what I'm trying to say? So let's look at this and we'll see, how do we do this. Or wait for your team to come back. Even when you're idle, you're still out. You got to use cover more. Like, even when you're just chilling, you're still out of cover, which makes no sense, right? You realistically cannot even hit these dudes. They're way too far. But we're still chilling out of cover to get damaged. That's how little you use cover. So the gameplay kind of tells on you right there. If you don't even use cover just sitting there, you definitely don't use cover fighting. You know what I mean? So get used to using cover, take it slowly, try to position yourself around walls a little bit more. Not just when you're low, but when you're trying to make space. Think of, if you sit here kind of just AFK, and they sit there AFK, and you have two tanks shooting at each other, and both tanks are getting healed, who wins? Think about it. If both tanks just sit out in the middle of nowhere, and none of them move, and they're getting pocketed, who wins? There's literally a stalemate. This is why pressure is important, because as you move forward, you start poking that Jeff sitting right there. Jeff is going to start running away. This means that their tanks are going to stop getting heals. When they stop getting heals, they are going to run away. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. All right, so tanking into Groot. You have to play Groot to really know. Let me be honest, but think of it this way. Okay, well, this is gonna be weird, but work with me. The way Groot works is he only puts up walls ahead of him, so to speak. Right? It's usually it's very linear. It's usually just an X and Y axis, basically. That's kind of how it works. There's not really much of a wiggle room to that. It's just like, it's in front of me. That's it. You can turn the walls and, but realistically, the walls are going down in front of the character, which means that anyone behind you can't see you. How do we fix this? You have to position in a way to where the walls won't impact your team. How do we do this? Well, if we know that if Groot is looking at me and he's going to wall behind me this way, he's going to have two choices. He walls them, in which case I'll just break the wall, or he walls me, in which case it doesn't affect my teammates. Pressuring again. Well, if I walk through this point, he's going to wall me off. How do we get around this? I mean, you could go in there if you really want, but I'm not really tripping. I would just walk here and walk wide. This applies to all maps, by the way. He puts it behind you, your team can see you. He doesn't, I mean, you break the wall. When you fight wide. Puts it behind you, team can see you. Everything you do has to have him in mind before you do it. A lot of tank players just walk into Groot expecting things. When you play like this, it makes it easier for your team to play the game. And that's literally all climbing is. How can I make your job easier, bro? What can I do? Please tell me what I could do for you. Groot walls are the problem? All right, let me position better so it's not. What else is the problem? Blade's the problem? All right, I'll try my best to figure out how to do that. Iron Fist is the problem? Okay, what do I need? What do I need? It's not about like supporting and babysitting your team. It's just if you have the capability to make things easier, make it easier. And I think sometimes we just forget that. And this is what using cover does. Using cover means your healers don't need to keep you healed throughout an entire 5-minute fight. They can heal you, let you sit, focus on the DPS, focus on fighting Spider-Man, focus on all that. Why? Because you're a great tank that never takes damage. And if you do, it's not a lot. When we're finished, when we're done dealing with all that craziness, oh, you're about 75% HP? I got you. Okay, go back to fight. How are you making it easy on your healers? By not taking so much damage. Every role can do this for each person. But we just don't think about it that way because we all think about how my teams suck, my teams are stupid, my teams are this, my teams are that. But sometimes we just need help. You know? That's pretty much what it is. Sometimes we just need help. We can't do everything, and that's why it's a team game. So. My best tactic is to kill him quickly as Thor. Yeah, Thor definitely does numbers on him. I haven't played into him with the new Unstoppable. Have I? Maybe I have, but I wasn't really tripping. I don't think the Unstoppable thing is that crazy. Well, there's nothing you can do here, man. I mean, the fight's lost. I would just look to reset. Yeah, there's no reason to keep fighting. In a situation like that, when you kind of know we're staggered and we're split up, you just gonna have to let it go. Another thing that will just make you guys better players in general is trying to do some critical thinking. So we spent about 2 minutes and we gained nothing. Why? Do something different. All it takes. We all have this ability, but sometimes we just don't think about it until it's too late, or sometimes we think the character is the problem. We spent 2 minutes doing nothing. Why did we not get anything accomplished in 2 minutes? He keeps walling behind me. It's possible that that's not the problem, but we're just going to say that is. Where can I go? Or it's not going to be a problem. Well, what if I go this way? There's a lot more room over here. Maybe that'll be the play. Maybe I'll try to trick him. Maybe I'll go here and he's going to try to fight me, and then I'm going to juke him and I'm going to go this way. That means he has to rotate his entire position to work with me. This is something that all roles can do. You need to really think about, why are we not making anything happen? And how can we make something happen? Because you only got a few minutes on the clock. Yeah, you see how you're trying to brute force with your body? That's not how mag works. That's not how he works, and so that's why you're not being successful. You're not a bad player. You're just trying to tell this guy to do something he's not really capable of doing. That's really all it is. Remember, his presence is his abilities. It's not his body. You can't just walk up on people and expect them to move backwards because they're not going to. Mag is not scary. Okay, we got point though. We're gaming, we're gaming. Okay, after we get point and we know that we have point, try to move forward and try to secure a nice, safe location for us to start poking from and start the next fight from. You never just want to sit there on the cart and wait. If you can move forward to the next fight, move to the next fight. And we talked about this. Remember, every single map has a specific amount of fights tied to them, more or less, right? You can move to the next fight. Once you play enough, you'll know where that next spot is. Move towards that spot. Let me slow it down just a little bit. Okay? That's fine. I like that. You're really focused on hitting the tanks, but think about it this way. If we were thinking about a Jenga tower, like popping a Jenga tower or a Jenga tower, we don't have to think about it that way, but I don't know, I'm feeling like it. Anyway, if we think about it, right, you have the blocks or whatever, cool, yeah, great, awesome, right? If the tower were to fall, which blocks are the ones that you want to avoid? Probably the ones near the bottom, right? Hitting the tanks are the ones at the top. If we want to make the tower fall, we have to hit what's supporting them. It could be the DPS, it could be the healers, but you have to identify that. A lot of your damage has been poured out onto the front line for no reason, and it doesn't do anything. So whenever you fight, think about what's keeping you from moving. Like, why are the tanks so confident right now? I know sometimes it's the healers, but I also know sometimes it's a DPS. Sometimes some DPS are so oppressive that I can just sit there and do whatever I want for a while. No way you just let this guy survive. Okay. I was about to say, bro. No way you just let this guy survive. Okay. So you're pushing forward, which is fine. But at the same time, why? Where's the cart? It's right there. We don't need to continue to push. There's no tank to even stop the cart from pushing. You're not really doing anything here, but just overextending. Whether or not you get the KO, it doesn't really solve anything. Like, even if you did get it, it doesn't do anything. Remember, your goal is to just herd the sheep, man. All you have to do is stand here. I'm not 1,000% sure if it's breakable or not, but if it is, stand here. You do the same exact thing you were just doing to Luna and Jeff by pushing forward, but you're also healthy. And in order for them to walk by you, you got to miss your shots. So this is what we call zoning. You don't need to push them. You just need to make sure that they can't get back to the spot for free. That's all. You're trying to get the KO, which is just isn't necessary. Just pump the damage out. You can even hold here and do the same exact thing you were doing, just stopping them from moving forward. I think overall, we're not necessarily I think for the most part, I just don't think you're thinking as a tank. Like, I don't think you're playing the game at role level yet. And of course, you can definitely say that I'm wrong. This is a conversation, not just telling you you're wrong or you're right. But I just think that we're kind of not playing the role game. We're just playing the character, and we're playing a shooting game. But you do have to understand how the roles work in order for you, at least yours, at minimum, for you to be able to move forward and make things happen. Now, I will say Magneto is a very hard character to pull off. It's a very hard character to pull off, which is why I don't really rank him that high in lower ranks. Because he is complicated. He's easy, but he's complicated because he requires a lot of strategy. But the way you're playing is just kind of like, it's not objective focused. That's what I want to say. You're not playing objective focused. You're really just kind of looking for the KOs. Like, of course, you're trying to do the objective, but like once your kills pop up or the KOs pop up in front of your face, that's what we focus on. Watch, you'll see it. So instead of holding this point to allow your team to push, or even going up here to hold this point, right? We're not thinking about the objective. We're sitting on it, but where's it got to go? You know exactly where it's going to go. So why aren't we helping it go? You know what I mean? We're just sitting on it. I believe the speed caps at 4, but I think 2 is the only noticeable one. I think once you hit 3 or 4, it's not really as fast. So more than that doesn't really do anything. But you see, now we have to try to have this fight that we didn't have to have if we would have just moved up a little bit sooner and sat here. Your team would follow you. And then now you just don't have to worry about putting so much effort into the fight. Look how much more work you have to do because we didn't walk forward. So it's not necessarily like you're a bad player or anything like that. I don't know if you feel like that's kind of like your mentality is like, I'm just not a good player. Because it has nothing to do with you being bad or good. We're just not playing. We're just not playing how we should be playing. You're just playing in a whole different way. That's all. As you climb, you have to remember that you have to transform your gameplay with each type, with each time you climb, you have to transform your gameplay. And sometimes people don't realize this, especially in higher ranks. So they feel like they can't climb any higher because they're trying to do what they did in their previous rank in the next rank. That doesn't work. So each time you climb, you have to transform your gameplay. You have to play differently. What I'm seeing is your gameplay works when there's less structure. And when there's more structure, it starts to fall apart. And it's not all you. Obviously, it's a full straight up team game. But I just think that we're missing a few of the fundamentals. And that's what we're talking about, right? Herding the sheep, using cover, taking space. That's all core fundamentals of playing tank. Right? Getting to an area further ahead to try to zone. Core parts of tank. It's just stuff that we're missing that are going to prevent us from climbing because we're not focusing on it. So it's not like you're bad. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just we're not doing it in general. So I think once you start to really digest that, you're going to start seeing your gameplay actually start skyrocketing because you're not playing bad. It's just we're not doing what we should be doing. You see, even right there, you felt like Iron Man was your problem. And it's not. Like, we're just doing way more than we realistically should be doing. It's rough, though. I know it's rough. It's not easy. Tanking is not easy, and it is the hardest role to learn. You know? So learning tank, no matter what rank you are, it's a huge step forward in front of the player base because it's something people just do not want to do for this reason. That's just frustration. Normally I play safe with Mag, but I was just so frustrated recently with losses that I just stopped thinking. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of we're not doing the core fundamentals happening. Definitely. But Magneto is very slow. If you want to play a fast character, then you should just play a different one. Magneto is very slow. A lot of my wins with this character is me just being deliberately slower than everybody else. So you're gonna have to really, you're gonna have to be calm when you play him. You know, the timer shouldn't stress you out. Your team shouldn't stress you out. A lot of what you're doing is definitely a more thought out process with this character. So pretty much we were already talking about the wall thing, right? And how we should position for it. Okay, now we're getting up in there, which is fine. Just remember, time and place for everything. Time and place for everything. You know, play a little bit slower sometimes with Thor, use lightning strikes, and then you can go in, and then time and place for everything. This one does seem like you're pretty frustrated, though, based off that gameplay there. Don't be frustrated, though. There's nothing to even be upset about. If you're not winning, it's because you're missing something. If you lose about 1 or 2 games in a row, 3, whatever. But if you're consistently hovering around the same location, you're missing something. And there's nothing to be frustrated at. It just means there's something that you're missing. You need to learn. You know what I mean? And you got me. You got people in our Discord that don't mind talking, and just like if you ask them a question, everybody's very helpful in there. So I mean, you got friendly places. You just got to voice it out. Trust. We all know what it's like. That's why I let people vent in my Discord. We all get upset at things. Trust. It's part of the process, but it shouldn't impact your gameplay. Magneto is the most frustrating tank to play on console, honestly, because he requires so much patience. If you go in against a hard dive meta, you might get beat up. I mean, I think it's fair to say that on console and PC. There was on my tier list, I ranked them pretty low for low ranks, for like bronze and diamond, and someone was like, it was funny because they were like, I disagree with that tier list. I think Magneto is one of the best tanks in the game, and when I play Magneto, I do this, I do that, and I think that tank is wrong and everything. And then he said, and I would definitely win more if my teams, you know, actually basically blaming it on the team. They play perfect and then it's team's fault. And then another commented on his and said, you literally just said what Papa said, just a different way. Magneto is team reliant, and that's exactly what he was saying. I was rolling. I was like, that's what I was thinking, but I wasn't going to tell him that. I was just going to heart it and move on. But I think that I was reading it and I was like, I said the same thing in the video itself. He's not a bad character. He just doesn't really have what it takes to care. He's team reliant. I was dying. I was like, that's so funny. That's so funny. You saw it too? Yeah, it was a funny comment. It was a funny comment. All right, we need to chill out. We need to chill out. We're definitely just going in a little bit too much. If you want to do this, play Cap, play Hulk. Thor doesn't work like that. You got to play a little bit more passive. You're basically still playing Magneto when you play Thor, and then once you have that on switch to go, you're playing, you know, Hulk and Cap and stuff like that. So he's like a hybrid. He's like a hybrid. I'm only telling you now because if you start climbing, your Thor, your version is gonna get obliterated, and you can already see it's happening. So think more about using your lightning strikes rather than dashing around. Time and place for everything. Time and place for everything. Even this, you don't have to. You can fly in, put the bubble up, fly out, hug cover, lightning strike. Bow, 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 bow. Same job. Remember, you're hurting. That is the name of the game. How can I move you? It is not KOs. It is not It is not bullying anything. It's not shoving people away. It's not like, even when people think of Angela, they think that, oh, well, Angela's the best because she just repositions people, and no, that's not how that works. Repositioning is great, but there's a time and place for everything. If you're repositioning them in an area where they don't really care, you're not doing anything, right? You have to move them in a way so that your team can play the game every single time. If you dash in, bubble, they're going to move. And you keep lighting them up, and they'll start turning the corner or not. But if they don't turn the corner and they just back up into there, and maybe over there where Jeff is, you just whip this corner, bow, 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 and run her down. Who is going to protect her? She's cooked. This is way different than just diving into the team and dashing around. Because not only do they have to turn around to look at you, but they weren't prepared. When you run into the tanks, everybody's already kind of thick though. When you run into the tanks, everybody's looking at that direction. See what I'm trying to say? So you're not catching anyone off guard by going in. You're just going to get lit up. This is why you have to kind of bounce back and forth between the hybrid. And again, get the weak links. We're going to look how long this Luna was out of position. Like, seriously. Like, I want you have to see this, because it's ridiculous how long she's standing there for free. Because these are the things you need to spot. It doesn't matter what character you are. You need to spot these things. You need to. I used to play safe as a thing because the moment I try to make a play, I feel like my supports just get exploded by Magic or PP or insert divers. Yeah, but the cool part about divers, more or less, is that they're window based, right? Eventually, they will get to a point where they can't really commit anymore and they have to leave. That is your opportunity to make a play, and then you got to come back before they come back. It sucks. I don't like playing against them either, but I feel exactly where you're coming from. All right, we're gonna see how long she was out of position. We're gonna count. So she's chilling. She's chilling. You know, I think she's pretty okay. Got a nice little freeze off. Okay, this is kind of out of position because literally no one's here. She's cooked. So let's see. She's still out of position. Mr. Fantastic finally attacked her after 10 seconds. And she ults. But imagine if you went on her beforehand and you spotted that she was out of position well before that even happened. Now she already has ult here. But if you were to go on this Luna, one or two things going to happen. She's going to take it to the face and just get KO'd, or she's going to ult. 9 times out of 10, she's just going to ult because she's scared. If she does that, you burn an ult that just isn't even going to be impactful anyway. Your team can then run them over. This is what you're looking for as a tank. Who is out of position? This is why I said a lot of your gameplay focus is on the front line, and it should be for a little bit. But if you start seeing little people just kind of being out of position here and there, you got to take advantage of it. You have to. The higher you go up, the less it happens, but it still happens. We're all human. But if you don't even know how to identify it here, when you get to high ranks, how are you going to be able to identify it there when it barely happens? You then will just not be winning games as tank because you won't be able to do much, right? You're not going to be influencing the game. So far, if I were to say a few major things, it would definitely be target priority. You know, we need to be thinking about who we're attacking and why at any given moment. Another thing would be how you approach points. So, you know, we want to use cover a lot more. We want to approach points a lot more by using cover. The less damage you take, the less work your healers have to do. The less work your healers have to do, the better they will play. Just like tanks don't want to babysit a Black Panther or an Iron Fist or Magic when they dive the backline, strategists don't want to babysit tanks. They don't. When I play strategists, I'm not trying to pocket my tank because they don't know how to not take damage. If you play strategists, you probably think the same way. it goes the same exact way when tanks have to deal with divers. Nobody wants to babysit anybody. We should all be capable of doing something until we need help. Your version is just don't take a lot of damage until they can heal you. And then, you know, play the game slowly like that. Remain about 75% HP so that way they don't have to sit there and pocket you the entire game. Because nobody wants to do that. They want to play the game, right? And I'm not saying that's what you're doing the entire match, but I'm just giving you an example of like why it's important. I always feel bad when my supports have to heal me a lot. Yeah, it's not something that everybody wants to do. We all want to play our own games. It's not fun when the DPS has to peel the backline either. It's not fun, right? So this is why the game gives us tools to be able to handle ourselves for a little bit until we really need assistance. So yeah, aside from target priority, aside from just using cover a little bit more, I think everything else is pretty standard. You just gotta play a little slower. Think a little bit more. The thing about your gameplay is that when one thing comes together, it'll all come together. And so that's the cool part about your issues that you're facing. They'll just all fall into place. Once you play a little bit slower, then you're gonna start realizing you have more target priority opportunities, and then your type of issues just all fix each other at once. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Not at all. Yeah, even there, like you're scrapping, but you're not analyzing who you should go for. A little bit further back. You're not necessarily in the wrong here at all. But if you watch this, why is, bro? Look at her face. She's like, I don't even know. I'm in this rank. Bro, I've been out of position this entire match, and this store don't do nothing. Like, bro, get me out. She's been open this entire time. Why do you like this dude so much? Look at her. Look at her. She's in melee range. You were trying to get to her? Bro, don't you lie to me. Don't you lie to me. In what world are you trying to get to her right now? Don't you lie to me right now. What, you took a detour? Change of plans? When you dash the first time? But you could tell it's still not on your mind. Now I can see you going for her. But that, you don't need to hit people when you dash. Let me tell you this. This is something that I learned playing Thor. You could just use it to reposition. You don't actually need to hit people with the dash. So if we played that scenario back, if you just angled it a little bit more to the right and then just walked up on her in lightning form, you're going to get all your damage off. You're going to get all it off. So I wouldn't really worry too much about using the push mechanic because it's not that serious. The real mechanic you'd want to use most are going to be your primaries and your lightning strikes. The push mechanic is cool, but you don't need to use that. And the higher you get, the more you're going to put yourself in bad positions. It's not a tool that you use all the time. That's old Thor. Old Thor was very like, I push, I hit, I push, I hit. You know what I mean? You see how you're relying on it so much? Like you're relying on trying to land the stun way too much. Rely more on the lightning strikes. Rely more on being in the right spot at the right time. Once you do it that way, you're gonna realize that Thor is a lot easier to play. Because that knockback doesn't really do any damage at all. You kind of see, like, because we're overutilizing it, we are putting ourselves in really bad position. So just You're even canceling your lightning strikes. Am I crazy? Hold up. I think you're canceling. Surely you're canceling. You are. Okay. Don't do that. Have you been canceling this entire match? Your lightning strikes. Do you know how much they do? I think it's like 70 damage. Your primary is like 35. You also have additional damage when you're near someone. So make sure you use it for the full duration. Oh, you panic clicked? Okay, that scared me. I saw you cancel it before, but it was towards the end, so I wasn't tripping. But that one was like super close. Wait, you did it again. You did it again. You are canceling. You're missing out on so many KOs because you're canceling. That primary is like 35 damage. That's a lot of swings. Your lightning strike is like a 3-tap hit.
I am ready to put on a show.
Unless you're running away or repositioning, do not cancel. Don't cancel. Don't cancel. Don't cancel. Don't cancel. I'm telling you. It's biting you in the butt.
Let's keep fighting until we have a winner.
See? You canceled it again. You canceled it again. You cancel it a lot. Maybe you panic sometimes, but 3 times in a row, I think it's intentional. Relax, Gino. So, yeah, I think a lot of your abilities, both on Magneto and Thor, could be used to their fullest potential. But I think a lot of it isn't being used to its fullest potential because we're not thinking about everything that we talked about. We're not thinking about target priority. We're not thinking about using cover. We're not thinking about playing in a way so that my team can play around me. We're not thinking about moving the team away. A lot of the gameplay that we see is more of like, if I'm fighting, it's good enough. And honestly, that's not really how it is. As I said before, there's a lot of phases, right? There's the setup phase, there's the pre-fight phase, there's the full fight phase, and the cleanup phase. We're just rushing phases. And it works from time to time, but as you said, you've been in the same spot for a few seasons. Well, each season, players get better, and then they come into your rank. Better players come into your rank, and that just keeps happening. So if we're not using, like if we're not playing that way and evolving on it, we're going against players who already learned this stuff because they were essentially higher than you, and it's harder and harder and harder for you to win. So the bright side is you're not playing poorly, you're not playing bad, we're just not using the fundamentals. And like you said, you could have been upset. You could have been upset and you're frustrated and you threw some of them out the window, but don't do that. You need to still stick to your fundamentals because that's going to be how you win a fight. The form, the technique, all that extra stuff is important, right? You can be the strongest guy in the gym, but if someone has a better technique than you, they're going to win the fight. Doesn't even matter, right? So think about it that way. You could play the best character in the game in these ranks, but if you don't know what you're doing with the character, you're not going to climb. And this is why I don't focus tier list on power, because power doesn't really equate to winning a match. Magneto is very strong, but it doesn't equate to winning the match. You still have to know exactly what you're doing, and a lot of what Magneto needs to pilot, people in these ranks don't really understand yet. You really only get those fundamentals when you get to like Grandmaster. I'm not saying don't play Mag. I'm just telling you my thought process for that character. So yeah, just work on that stuff. It might seem like a lot, but I'm telling you, your stuff will all fall into place. It will all fall into place. If I were to start anywhere, use cover more often. Use cover more often, use cover more often, use cover more often, and then focus on your target priority. Who am I going to shoot and why? Are they out of position? Shoot them. Don't just shoot frontline. Those two things alone will skyrocket your gameplay. Like hands down. Not even joking. Because you'll play a lot slower, you'll play a lot more calculated, and you'll start popping off way harder than you actually thought you could. Another little rule of thumb, just for anybody that wants to play and be really good, try to keep your KDA low. So get to I'm gonna pull up your replay again. I think you KO'd 17 times. But a good rule of thumb, doesn't matter what role you are, if you guys can keep your KO count maybe 5 or less, you're gonna win more games. It sounds really weird, but off of that alone, you're going to win more games. I promise you. It does not matter what rank you're in. If you can keep your KO count less than 5, I don't know what the statistics are, but I guarantee you will win more games just by not being KO'd so much. I promise. The more you're alive, the more ults you have. The more you're alive, the more damage you have. The more you're alive, the more HP you have, obviously. The more you're alive, the more healing you can do. Like, keep that KO count low and you will win more games. I promise. I promise. I promise. I promise. That is the secret. It's hard to do, obviously. Don't get me wrong. It's not like, oh, Papa, that's super easy. No, it's hard. Some games, it's very difficult. But I'm telling you, that's the easiest way to climb. I did that once as Strange, using the card as cover and blocked only 7k damage, but MVP and healers are literally kept them blocked off the whole match. Yeah, it works. My major weakness is that I get KO'd a lot. Yeah, literally what I just talked about. And I also notice whenever I play Thor with the good Angela, I survive more and kill more. Yeah, I think a lot of it is just focused on, like a lot of your gameplay is coin flip. And coin flip meaning that you win or lose because the enemy team sucks, or you lose because they suck. I mean, I'm sorry, you lose because they're good, or you win because they suck. And that's a really bad area to be in because you're going to be just coin flipping matches. You know, some games you'll win, some games you'll lose, but you're not going to climb. You need to be able to beat the good players so that way you can step on them and get to your rank. That's why you feel like you have a lot of these drastic differences. Like some games I get KO'd a lot. Some games I get so many KOs. They're drastic because that's how your gameplay is. If you could start making it so it's more consistent and it's not so drastic, I don't know if I can see any of my accounts. I think I'm friends with my account. I don't have any friends? Bro, I'm lonely. I don't think I can see my stats, so I'm not even gonna look at it. I think I had my profile for that account. What was the other one? Is it this? So I was playing on one when Gambit came out. Huh? I can't look at people's accounts because I'm level 5? Who thought that was a good idea? Oh, it's on level 5. Okay, well, I can't show you. But I was going to say, actually, maybe I can't. Let me try to pull it up on the website. Marvel Tracker. All right. So this is pretty much the account I'm doing for that series that I told you guys that I was doing, right? The one with the Hulk and whatnot, I'll be using this account. Oh. Here's what I mean by consistency. Consistency. 3 deaths. 5, 2, 2. This is last season or 2 seasons ago. I actually don't remember. 6 months ago. That's more than 2 seasons ago. 8, 6, 0, 5, 5, 3, 8. If I have a 1-off, it's a 1-off. But honestly, Adam Warlock is double because, you know, he revives. 0, 3, 5, 6, 6, 7. You see, if I have drastics, they're not even that drastic, but you can tell it's not consistent. That's what I'm talking about. You need to have consistency in your gameplay. You need to make sure that your KO count... I can't see anymore, can I? Oh, yeah, I can. You need to make sure your KO count is consistent. You'll have the 1-off of I got KO'd 10, 20 times or whatever. You know, it does happen. But for the most part, your whole track should look pretty average whenever you're climbing. And just by having a consistent KO count, or I'll just say death count, consistent death count makes so you win more games off the rip. It's not always the case, but it does help you quite a bit to just not get KO'd so often. I haven't played this account in ages. I'm just kind of reminiscing at this point. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm trying to see what was I doing. I started this account in January. 10 months ago. Nope, June. Oh, wait. January, yeah. Nope, December. Nope. Oh, I made a Smurf account that early in my life? Jeez, that's when the game came out. 10 months ago. Oh, no, there was two seasons after. Aw, look at my little bronze adventure. Ah, SQ. Oh, poppin'. Okay. Well, that's over with. It was fun while it lasted. Okay. We are going to call it for this weekend. I really need to play. I haven't played Rivals for like 2 days. But I've been having a lot of stuff I'm trying to get out. I might not play today. I might actually just record for this week's content coming up. But we'll see. We'll see. Regardless, I won't stream it, I don't think. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Another huge shout out to Chaos. Another huge shout out to Murray becoming members. Huge shout out to Lauren for being a mod, of course. Really appreciate you doing these, Poppy. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Hope you guys learn a lot. Hope you guys learn a lot. Yeah, we're gonna call it. It's getting a little late. As I said, I think I want to pump out some content. Well, not on YouTube, but I want to make some before the end of the night's over. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Peace, peace. Late. If you want to continue any of the conversations, join our Discord. We're happy to have you. If you want to put your replay reviews in my Discord, we'll go over them again next week. Again, it's totally free for everybody. But thank you guys for watching. Wait, Cato, relax, Cato. Relax. I see you, Cato. I see you. Till next time, you know what I always say. Thank you guys for doing what? Popping often. Real often. Peace, peace, late. You guys should be in here. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday.